What is up, YKTR Sports Nation? Welcome back into the YKTR content studio for a very special episode of the Sports Show. It's week one of finals time, baby. I am your host, Skipper Scope, joined always by my boy, producer Jacko, and Triple OG, Willie Mason. Now let's roll into the show, Mase. What's been happening? Let's get it fucking nice and early, baby. Let's get into it.
Not much, man. Last weekend was pretty big. I think I did some stuff with PointsBet, got to meet Shaq.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, it was... We got to shoot around. We had to shoot around with Shaq and all that kind of stuff, man. That dude is big. He's a big
man.
He's huge. All I wanted to do was meet him. I didn't want to annoy him. Everyone was just fucking annoying him. He got used so much. So I think PointsBet bought him out. And then I think the hour, some Melbourne fucking blokes or Brisbane, they were just doing dinners after dinner. He probably had to just put on this fake fucking smile all the time. I said, look, man, privileged to meet you, and just bailed.
There was
crowd text, and I bought 3 basketballs. So Chris Walker, the fuckwit.
Yeah, you talked about this last week. We did this last week.
That's how quick the week's gone.
You're too much CTE for fucking. But I will say,
that's what I said.
It's because he's been on. Yeah, you told us last week.
Fuck.
But I will say,
too many podcasts.
Yeah, too many potties. He did get hammered. Like when he was here, he was everywhere.
Awful.
He was everywhere, and
that's how quick last week went.
Yeah, Jakey Travojevic was. They did some micro on Manly's page, and Jakey said like, "How big is he?" Like 8 times.
He's like that much bigger.
Yeah. Let's roll into it, Jacko. Let's get straight into it, eh? 6 of the best. Or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of the best.
7 of the best.
You're in for a treat.
Let's go. 7 tackle set. All right, let's start with the big one. We may as well roll straight to you, Scope, because I know you want to touch on this. The big storyline of the week is Manly, for whatever reason. Des and DC reportedly under pressure to keep the staff in captaincy. We had the supposed player survey that got circled around, where basically the players were asked anonymously if they wanted to play for Des, which seemed bizarre. Wow. All the speculation is that they will have a meeting on Thursday. Des, his manager, and the board or the Pens, rather, to come up with a decision on his future. There's plenty going on here, Scope, but firstly, your reaction to the news that Des and Chez are under pressure after Manly season.
Yeah, so Is that 100% confirmed? I haven't had a chance to chat to the boys. We obviously did the show with the boys last week, but this broke over the weekend, so I haven't had the opportunity to chat to them. So don't read into my words. I'll just give you my opinion on it, basically, without knowing the full details of it. But one thing I will say, Mase, and this is facts. Firstly, there's always been dramas at Manly. There's been fractions above the club that have existed for years, like anything else. There are other clubs that go through this shit, Mase, but in particular Manly. It's part of the reason why Des left originally. But I will say there's 2 matter of facts, like 2 things that have definitely happened, and that is for these 2 to be under pressure. Des has proven that he can win a comp as a coach. Out of all the people that have been named in this, like there's so many layers to it, and DCE has won a competition, has steered Queensland to victories at Origin level as a player and as a captain. So they have the runs on the board. Everyone else named in this, with all this shit chat that's going around, those 2 have got the runs on the board more than anyone else in this situation. And it's for me, it's a little bit tough because I'm biased. Chez is one of my good mates. So from your perspective, Mate, you did a year at Manly. You know a little bit about the what goes on around there, but you know more so what happens in rugby league circles. Yeah. I'm more interested to see what your thoughts are on it.
I don't know. It's weird, and you said you're right. I mean, you're right about the fractions in Manly, and every time the NRL, the media love it when Manly's down. They want to boot the shit out of you. It reminds me of the Bulldogs as well. Like whenever they're down, they'll lay the boot in because you're not usually down for that long. And when I saw DCE and Tom Trbojevic getting interviewed, Danny Weiler did a good interview with him just to sort of straighten it all out. I was like, what's happening here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who surveys players like to go around? Is the CEO getting surveyed to all the players? Are the players even taking that serious, or is this just a whole bunch of shit? Who else is going to captain that side? Give me that. Foz is gone. Jake Trbojevic just leads by example. Tom just leads by example. Yep. DCE is that senior player in that team, and he deserves the captaincy. Full stop. Do we have a young up-and-coming player that is going to grab it? Do you see that in Manly? No one sees it. They just, as I said, like the media love to kick Manly when they're down, and they're down at the moment. But I just don't see the bullshit with Des. Who else? Des is a top 5 coach nearly of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time. The runs are on the board. What are you going to do? Who are you going to get? There's no good coaches out there. Who's your reserve grade coach there? Who's his assistant coaches? Why are you trying to just, like Des left for reasons. Last time he went to the Bulldogs, he come back because he thought shit got straightened out. He's been good for the last couple of years. He's got him to like top 4 last year. He's been pretty good there. I thought he handled the Rainbow Weekend saga great.
Do you reckon that's a part of it? Because he looked better than everyone else involved in that fucking whole situation, and it wasn't even his fault.
I thought that was great what he did. He stuck up for his boys. I thought, man, I don't think any player in that team, if your coach is doing that, standing front and center for this shit that you all caused, whatever your beliefs are, I believe in that. You stick up for your right. When I say you caused, you know what I mean? Like it was a fraction in the club because of your decisions. He's the one stood front and center and backed us all up. He did that
with his captain.
He did that with his captain. So I don't think there's anything going over there with Manly. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do, Manly? DCE's still got a couple of years left. Des is Des Hasler. He can coach. He's missing the best player in the world last year, man. Like Tom Trbojevic had a season that no one else has ever had. I don't know where it's coming from, honestly. You'd probably know a little bit more than me. Like, I don't think DCE would ever come publicly because I know how private these guys are. They would never say anything online or media wise. But I think it's a build up and a beat up from the media again because, as I said, they just love to kick Manly when we're down. When I played there, even for that 1 year in 2015, I could tell.
You know enough. You can feel it.
I could feel that fucking.
And it comes from above, mate. It's all from above. It's not. Players get dragged into this shit. DCE, I always feel sorry. I always feel like I'm sticking up for him. He gets caught in this sort of shit a fair bit because he's a good dude, man. Wait till his fucking career's done, and then you know what? There's a part of me that is almost like, fuck you, Manly.
You don't deserve him.
You don't deserve. Imagine if they fuck him. I want them. There's almost a part of me that says, all right, take the captaincy off. Don't re-sign Des, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to take Des's star from underneath him. Yeah. And when I say them, it's people up the top. So there's always been fractions. Zorba Peter Peters, he's a massive part of it. He'll be involved in it somehow. I don't know 100%.
It's all about overthrowing boards. And all that
exactly.
Kind of
it's all about control.
All power and ego, man. And
Desi's had it for years, Mase. And because he's got the runs on the board, no one else there has the runs on the board like Des and DCE as a player, as a captain for winning comps. It shits me, but there's a part of me that hopes they almost go, all right. If they do, they fuck off. They take Des's staff away from him, take all his power. He'll just leave. I reckon he'll just leave.
All the rumours, rumours. If he leaves, like Tom and Jake, they'll be like, well, I think they have something in their contract with Des being there. He has to be there.
Speaking of
that. Imagine you losing Tom Trbojevic or Jake because you want to swap Des in because of your ego and you don't like him because something happened fucking 15 years ago. That's how deep this shit goes. Do you know what I mean? Like the reason why it goes, there's a lot of layers in this. You got to uncover. It's a fucking big onion, and that's one of the reasons. And it's just like, would you sacrifice if that was the case? If that was the case, I mean, Tom and they didn't really say they wouldn't leave or anything like that, but they said everything will be resolved and Des will be coach next year as far as I'm concerned, all those sort of things. But what if they sack him and Tom walks?
Do they have that?
Fuck.
Do you know if they have that in?
They'd have something there.
This was the chat yesterday. I don't think anyone knows definitively other than Tom and Jake, but similar to what Fozzie has always had with regards to, it's not a Des clause, but it's a coach's clause and a player
Should be the
option.
Darius Boyd clause.
Yeah.
The Darbs clause.
The Darbs clause. So the chat is basically, if I'm with you, I don't think they would ever move Des, but if they want to,
I think it's by
personal.
the chat.
It's personal.
Yeah,
it's coming from the higher,
it's a chance.
the higher ups.
It's a big chance.
It's coming from the higher ups. If the board and everything chooses not to pick that, they will do it.
But I think they're such pussies. I think what they'll do is, like you said, take his staff away, make it so uncomfortable that he jumps before he's pushed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they will do.
Yeah. I don't know why they want to do that. What has he done wrong?
Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. This shit just goes. This could be a beef from 20 years ago.
There was some
that's how deep this shit goes. In every club, I know exactly, because Des is a great at that club. You know what I mean? So he's been there since the 80s. Like he could have beef with someone else from the Fulton side. You know all that sort of shit, man. That club is one of those clubs. Like Bozo used to run the fucking 100%. Game. I used to get told from fucking like Australian selectors and shit like when Bozo wasn't even selector. You better stop going now. He won't pick you. Well, he's not even a fucking selector. That's how much. that's how much pull he has.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He rules that game, and not.
God bless his
rest his soul, like he's passed away, but it would be passed on to someone that he would have empowered.
it's a strong family.
If whoever he's empowered,
strong family ties.
they've done the same thing and they've got a lot of pull. I'm not sure what the Penn family are doing. They're the ones that need to step in and say, Des, our fucking coach, everyone back off. Or you're off the
100%.
board or you're out of the club. Because they're not die-hard Manly fucking fans or anything like that. They're just rich.
Yeah.
I think that's two-pronged. There was the clear big division. When he first left Manly and went to the Doggies, and the owner came out and basically said he'd never be allowed back at Manly, and then obviously whatever happened, they managed to patch it up with fucking...
Well, the Penn family. They're the ones who, they're the ones who with majority rule. Yeah. But because that club is very... Yes,
it's a
very
power
political,
struggle, basically.
It is a power struggle, and guess who suffers? The players and the coach and the club. And they don't give a shit. They do not give a shit. Some clubs are like that. They'll just for their own ego, their own power, they'll fucking destroy clubs. And that's what Manly does to itself. And that's what's fucked. You know, you got some greats like Chocky Watmow and Jamie Lyon and all these sort of blokes, you know what I mean? They don't even go nowhere near the club. The only one's going pretty much back to it is like Brett Stewart. Because he lives around the corner and he's bored.
Skip to the lap of honour.
Yeah. You know, it's a good club.
Imposter syndrome.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best clubs when you're going good.
Yeah.
Like every club, you've got to win.
I feel sorry for Jakey and Tommy. I reckon because they're Manly through and through. They love the club. They've grown up there.
Mona Vale boys.
They are fucking good lads. They're like whatever their name being tossed into this will have nothing to do with them. They just want to win. Yeah. They want to win at Manly. They want to be successful. They want to win comps. They want to win comps for the club. So people will be using them. I'm fucking guarantee it, as they're their fucking pawns in it, and because they'll get caught up in it. Their names being tossed into this with regards to the captaincy and all this sort of shit. But mate, they'll have nothing to do with it.
I swear to God, Tom and Jake would not want to be captain with DC, is there?
Mate, can I ask you, because that's a good point. Everyone's using the footage of Jakey rah-rahing in the sheds and that as a reason why he should be captain, but you played long enough alongside. I'm probably being...
He's a passionate human.
That doesn't necessarily mean...
Doesn't mean that, like, mate, I used to talk like that before games. Doesn't mean I'm captain.
If Andrew Ryan was your captain, you're still not allowed to talk.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you're a part of the leadership group, which he's part of, you can say what you want. It's like
that's what I'm saying.
It's like the NFL where they have 4 or 5 captains. Our leadership group is the captains. So if you're a part of that leadership group, which he is, you can say what you want. You can carry on like your captain. You just don't run out first. That's about it. It's just it.
As long as you've got runs on the board.
You runs on the board.
You don't even have to be like a star.
Respect from your team. And that's all that really matters. And Jake's got respect in spades for New South Wales, Australia, the whole NRL. So he can say what he wants. And he plays with his heart on his sleeve. And I expect that from Jake. You know, and you know, he should be captain. No. He probably doesn't even want that. He just wants to be who he is.
He just wants to win.
He just wants to win. He's
wants to win at
like
Manly.
everyone else who plays at that level.
No, him more than anyone. Just wants to win. Jakey's that, like, he's that, like, we all love the game, mate.
Yeah.
So you love the game. You're a fucking gun. But Jakey lives and breathes rugby league. So what's happened with all the shit that's gone on? He even said it, like, he talked about it when all they went through with the Pride jersey and whatnot, that, you know, he just couldn't understand it because footy's everything to him. Yeah. Whereas, like, obviously he's got to understand that with the boys, with the meeting, with the beliefs and the religion, all that sort of stuff. So I just feel sorry for those boys. Tommy, we use Tommy's
Jake. Getting used. He was on Channel 9 going, yeah, I'll back everything up. Like, what do you expect him to say?
Yeah.
Tommy wouldn't even know what's going on. He's been injured the whole year and he's just going, I just want to get back and play round 1 next year. That's all he's thinking. Jake's like, I just want to get fucking hand fixed and get on this World Cup and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of the boys, DC is like, let's just fucking try and get out of this shithole and get to the UK and win a World Cup. That's the only thing that's going to make him happy at the moment.
Yeah. The headline is now swelling that if they push Des, that those two will go to Redcliffe, which is just out of absolute thin air. But,
there's going to be so much Chinese listeners. Don't put any.
Just imagine. I know, but just imagine that they do sack Des and Tom is a free agent and Jake. Oh my God, Wayne's just sitting up there going, hurry up.
Every
Des,
club.
If they were to lose Desi, obviously Foz is left, and then the Trebojevic boys. And
bottom 4 for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Just before we move off this, Skip, if not Des, then who? Like if this is...
There's not...
I sort of said that my main thing, when you start questioning a Hall of Fame coach like Des, who you got? Do you have like a young Craig Bellamy underneath him?
There's no
you don't.
Serraldo
There's no Serraldo. We've got him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
as good as Benji is as a player and has been as a player, Tim Sheens is literally grooming him to become the guy. I think Benji can be the guy for sure for West Tigers. That's not a crack at... It's just that there's not many out there. Like, people have turned down, for whatever reason, have turned down Shane Flanagan as well, who's a respected
Joel
and grand
Monahan.
final.
I mean, Michael Monahan's the assistant, isn't he?
Yeah.
Could he take that on? He was house assistant in Perpignan.
Yeah, he was too. Yeah. No, I think they're trying to get rid of all Des's staff.
Yeah,
so
I know.
basically, that's.
And it's just
I
so
think that'll be a
weird
part of it.
because they had you got to think this time last year prelim, Final Four. This then.
The year before
wow,
that, there was
so
the Jakey yellow card. Remember when he held the guy back? Like they've been traveling.
They've been pushing that.
Was that Des or was that Barrett?
It was the year before.
How long's Desi been there? 3 years or 4 years?
3 years.
3 years. This is his third.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was.
Jeez.
Was it against South, right? And South went
when
into
Jakey,
the prelim?
yeah, I might be wrong, but I believe it was when Jakey
Yeah,
pulled
so he
back.
Two semi-final
could be
runs and
close enough.
one not without the best player in the world. It's not bad.
I'm sweating up a storm on this one. I'm furious.
It is.
I'm fed up.
It sucks because
Lucky, can you turn on the aircon for me, seriously?
And it's you're hot, are you?
Yeah, I am.
You must be boiling
Yeah.
up inside. Yeah, I just feel sorry for the boys because I know them personally as well. The Trebojeviches and DCE, and I'm just like, they don't deserve this shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love Des as well. Des is a great bloke. But I just know how that club works, and
Also,
it's very
with that-
sinister. That's the word.
With that
Yeah, it's
club,
very
Sinister.
snaky.
Fucking snaky, sinister club.
Snaky.
with that club,
And
as
that's
well,
not Brett
Skip,
Stewart we're talking
That is
about.
not the snake.
Not the OG,
That is
not the
O-
proper snake.
The Prince.
The Prince of Brookvale.
Fuck, he was good.
Grass.
That club, if anything else, it has a history of when non-Manly players come in and take the realm, it just does take the helm. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if they were to usurp Des for a Serraldo type or like a next young gun coach,
Well, every club says that as well.
yeah,
Yeah, dogs,
You know, the
dogs,
Bulldogs said that, and Des got them to 2 grand finals.
yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So it's just like they all say that we need our own in, we need our own in. No, you just need a good
say
fucking
it.
coach.
Wait, Lukey,
You
what do
need
you
a
say?
good coach who understands players. What's up, Luke?
Oh, yeah, Brad
Arthur,
Arthur's been there before. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. He's been there. He's not like ingrained in Manly, but he's been assistant there for a year. The year we went to the
He's
GF.
highly respected there.
He
but
is highly respected.
But like, he's probably highly respected by all you blokes. He's all retired now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everyone respects.
I mean?
Everyone respects
Like
Des
Killer,
though.
Killer
as
and all.
well.
Yeah, but Des has got the ultimate respect. I'm not sure where this shit's come from. I'm pretty sure I do when you think about it. But like, it's like,
Yeah.
come on, man, just back off.
All right, let's roll off Manly scope. Time to move on to Taylan May, and obviously the big headline over the last 24 hours is the NRL's
Laughable. Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
the NRL's decision to backdate his 2-game ban for assault. So he was obviously convicted of assault. He's free to play in the finals, and he will serve his suspension in 2023. Mace,
Oh yeah. So this was in the off season when he was in some shit. Eh?
yeah.
Don't worry about.
So
So I'll tell you the story what happened,
yeah,
mate.
I sort of get it now. I thought it was like something that he
did.
did on the field. So this is the off-field stuff in the preseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently, they were out having a few drinks. This is the report that I got. You know, Nath took a picture with someone, and then he started sledging him, and then it went on and went on. And you know what it's like. You've been out and had these sorts of things. It's gone on, and then Taylan comes up behind him. You see the footage of him like yanking him to the ground. They went to court over it. It was assault. Did he pay a fine in the end?
Yeah.
Which is wherever you stand on that, whatever you believe on that.
Well, he was found guilty.
He was found guilty, right?
Found guilty of assault with occasioning bodily harm. So that was the magistrates' court last week. So for a bit of context, the NRL's reasoning for pushing it was that they were saying his sentencing was pushed because he just kept getting court delays, which happens in the justice
So it should have been at the start of the year. Is that what they're trying to say?
That's what they're trying to say, but that doesn't matter because it is what
really,
it is.
does it?
Not when it
I'm
comes.
normally players first, and I want to see all the best players playing finals.
yeah,
but this
of
opens
course.
up a can of worms, doesn't
Weird,
it?
man. Like it's when I read it, I didn't know all the context to it. I thought it was just like until he said the stuff that he did in the preseason. I heard he got in trouble in the preseason.
Yeah,
I was just like,
I believe it was.
well,
I'm not 100%. I know it was.
No, you're
No, it
correct.
was. It
Okay.
was something. It was something in the preseason.
Yeah.
I thought that he would have served, his suspension this year. As soon as it comes out and rules like through the courts, which it has been recently,
Yeah.
and they go, we'll suspend you next year. Jeez. I don't know how that works. Whose decision
That's a
is
tough
this?
one
for
for us.
Landis?
That's a tough one for us.
That's a tough one. Like, I
for
mean, I want the
players
kid.
first.
I want the kid to play,
So
and I
do
want
I.
him. I want him to experience semi-final football.
And
win a
I'm
grand
happy for him
final.
sticking up for his mate,
I'm
Nate,
happy to
too.
stick up for his mate. I'm
Fucking
good.
lemon that.
Yeah.
You know, the rules, but rules are rules. Like you open up Pandora's box, and I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think people are going to be in this position again. Hopefully not.
Well, this is what.
But when do you
Imagine if
serve?
it was
How do you serve? When do you serve it? Straight away?
Well, this is the thing. Is now it looks like it's just going to be. They've just put next year. It's not round 1 and 2. So I don't know when he's going to serve it. So the argument becomes like,
It would have to be round 1 and 2.
well,
wouldn't
you would
it?
hope, but why? Why isn't it?
Yeah,
if it has to be,
because you just it seems so weird that something that makes sense would have to be round 1 and 2.
But
wouldn't
the
it?
argument, Mace, became like
they're saying go
a
back to the
player
start of the
If
year.
this happens again next year to like a Sammy Walker, in round 2 or 3 off field, say he gets into a dust up on the piss or something. Can he say to the
It's
NRL?
bound to happen.
Can he say to the NRL, oh, well, I'll serve my suspension in rounds 14, 15 when I play the Warriors and Tigers because I want to play Manly and...
Or just after Origin.
Just after
I
Origin.
need a break. I
Yeah.
need 2 weeks off.
Imagine if it was Nath that, like, because he was involved in the situation. Imagine how much of an uproar this would be if it was Nath. And that's respectful to Taylan because he's a fucking gun player.
Yeah.
But
He's not a
If there was anyone playing Origin or Australia, there's different rules.
Yeah.
Like the backlash would be huge.
You
But
mentioned it
because it's
before
Taylan,
the
I think-
show. And what if it was like, wouldn't Bully have killed for something like this? Or players that have missed finals games for
Yeah,
anything,
Bully,
on field or
like-
off field. If
like
you're
getting
suspended, you're
suspended
suspended.
and all this kind of stuff is like everyone's just looking at that going, where was this for me? Like I just don't know. I don't understand how the NRL's come up with this. I mean, like he deserved like two games. What do you say? Because I'm all for sticking up for mates and
the boys.
and the boys, but I'm all for fairness as well. It just doesn't seem fair.
blurs
Because
the
only
line,
because of
yeah.
the people that have copped suspensions in grand finals and missed some big games
Yeah,
because
in
of the
finals.
NRL
At any
because of the
point of the
NRL
season.
judiciary system. That's why. That's the only reason why I'm like, what the fuck are you doing now?
Lindsay Collins isn't playing finals for a hip drop.
Yeah.
Taylan May is going to get to serve his suspension for assault next year.
Yeah, so, do you know what I mean? Like so people just look at our game like it's a fucking zoo. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you can assault someone and causing occasional bodily harm, but don't you dare hip drop, not on purpose either. Like you didn't do it on purpose. No. You know what I mean? But you can't play finals football.
It's the best reality TV show on.
It's ridiculous. So if you
Top
look at it,
TV.
if I just told you this and you didn't know anything about our game, and I said, and I told you all the rules, and this guy can play because he assaulted someone in the preseason. They didn't sort it out till finals. Now they did, and he gets 2 weeks. And this kid, he just like made a mistake in the tackle, and he can't play finals at all. You'd be like, how? Why? How? Why? That's what we're sitting here. We're sitting here like this, and we're vets of the game. We're just going, how?
hard.
I read it going. Well, fucking good luck to him, first of all. I said he's beat the system.
Yeah, good on
you
him.
idiots.
Fucking, I'm happy for him.
You know what?
I'm
I'm
happy,
happy,
yeah.
I'm happy for him. Let's not get it twisted. I'm
Yeah,
like, hey, fucking get what you get. You know what I mean? If they don't want to suspend you like idiots, you fucking miss round 1 and 2. Who gives a shit? I get to play in the semi-finals.
Yeah, fucking
He's never
oath.
played finals before.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine if it come out after week 2 and it's like prelim grand final. What happens then?
The weird part is, do you think this happens if this was round 16? So he was supposed to get his judgment around June.
Nah.
Do you think he would have served his 2 games
Yeah.
straight away?
Yeah,
Which
I
is the
reckon it
weirdest
would
part.
have
No
Could've
way.
been 17,
That's what
18.
looks. That's why we all look like idiots. The whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
100%.
There's plenty of curveballs. Lukey said, "What if he gets injured next year and goes, I'll take it then?"
Or if he gets
It'll have to be
suspended
round 1
in a,
and 2
like,
next
just
year.
say he does a high tackle. You got 2 weeks. That's the 2 weeks I want. You know what I mean? Like, can he do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If the argument
This is
becomes...
just so stupid. This is like the rule is very, very stupid. I don't
spoke about
understand
it
it.
upstairs.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
don't
And it
get
just doesn't make sense. And I think if you talk to anyone who just knows the game or understands judicial systems or the court system and our game, you go, how the fuck do you get away with that? Good on you. Good on you,
whose
kid.
call would it have
Enjoy.
been?
It's got to be Volandis, eh? He's
Has it been Volandis?
Eventually it's Abdo. The decision
Abdo.
starts and finishes with Abdo, yeah.
what,
Yeah.
he's not the is he the CEO, right?
No, well, Annesley's the big boss, but Abdo handles the
Isn't Annesley
judiciary.
He's
referees?
He's a
Andrew
ref
Abdo?
chief.
Am I saying that
Yeah,
correctly?
Abdo's correct.
Abdo, and
But
what's-
isn't
so
Annesley
Volandis
the
is the
ref?
boss, isn't he?
Greg Annesley's a referee's boss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he wouldn't be involved in it.
He's chairman. He's a chairman, right?
Andrew
Volandis.
Abdo.
It'd be
Yeah.
Abdo.
Volandis
Surely
is-
people were having conversations sitting around a table like we are now, mates, talking about it. And there's
No.
someone in that room going,
Doesn't feel
this
right.
isn't going to go down right.
Doesn't feel right.
You would think so.
But it
doesn't feel right.
Is it 6 again? I keep going back to it, man. If it's
no
Nathan
one's-
Cleary, James Tedesco, Cam Munster, this is a
mate.
massive deal. Taylan May, 6 again, baby. Good on him. Western Sydney, what's good? We're good,
up the
baby.
dubs.
We're going back to back. Western Sydney. Yeah.
Good on you, kid.
It's not his fault.
It is not
It's not
his
his
fault.
fault.
No,
This is
fuck
not
no.
his fault.
It's-
He would have gone, you know what? I'll take those 2 games. I'm sorry.
He's also been playing. You've got to think.
He's
been playing
been
with
killing
us
it,
all
man.
year.
He's been their dude, man.
And he's had this at the back of his fucking mind going, at some point I'm going to get suspended for this thing.
He's
that
had a
happened.
killer season.
And it came down this week, and he's probably thought in his head, fuck me, I'm going to miss 2 finals games.
Yeah,
and
and
then
he's
NRL,
just gone, reverse. Hit him with the reverse.
Hit him with the reverse. Oh,
I'm playing, boys.
can't play it on your last card, though.
Yeah.
Can't.
No last card.
Oh, all right. Fuck, that's enough.
It
That's
is
a
definitely
giggle.
going to open up
Happy
a can
for
of
him.
worms,
Good on
but
you, Taylan May, but giggle from the NRL.
Yeah, he got the same suspension as Chez for calling the ref a cheating bastard. So apparently he can get convicted of assault, but don't call the
Do
ref
what you
a
want off
cheat.
the field, boys. Jeez.
All right.
That's the message you're sending.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Assault someone and
Yeah.
on the piss, but don't call the referees cheating. All right, let's roll on. Skip the art dealer, our favourite pseudonym getting around the game at the moment. The art
I
dealer.
love it.
Pseudonym.
He's got
He's
good
a
words.
pseudonym.
He's got good words, Jacko. That's that journo background.
The art dealer warns that Tedesco must leave the Roosters for Suwali to stay. And again, context with Suwali's 1-year option contract, this is going to be a conversation at this time of the year, every year that Suwali is a Rooster, because he's always going to be off contract. Skip.
It's not the best timing. It's not. I don't know why the art dealer's popped up. I've never heard of the art dealer before now.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, we don't have to. He's the art dealer.
He's like Banksy.
That the art dealer. What is it? A pseudonym?
Pseudonym, yeah.
It's one of the best pseudomonyms of all time. The art dealer. I'll never refer to him as his name because to me, he's the art dealer, baby.
More mysterious, more sexy, the art dealer.
Joe, you'll know a bit about this, Mase, and I'll cross to you on it. Like, we talked about it last week with regards to Sonny. Joey's just got to go through now, and I've known Joey for a number of years. Yeah, in contact with him every now and again. Known him. He is the most humble, fucking best kid you've ever met in your life. And I just hope that as his star gets bigger and bigger, he just makes sure like you got to worry about who's in your circle, who's trying to infiltrate your circle. So apparently this guy's been around for a minute. He was he come and the art dealer come and found him at Glenmore Park. But like I said, I was around those. Anyone who's seen Joey play at those years were like, holy shit, this is like when I first seen him play. And at the time I just finished playing with Hainsey, I was like, fuck, this kid's going to be the next Hainsey. Like, so it's not like he found him like that. That's a giggle as well. But he's got to be careful who he puts around him because look, the boys will be sweet. Like at the end of the day, when I think about this, Teddy knows he's the best player, has been consistently the best player in the game for the last 3 years. Like, this won't rattle Teddy. I think it'll rattle Joey more than anything. Yeah. Like, he's just such a good, humble kid that.
I don't want his captain, his name getting tossed in there. His captain
he'd have head noise now going into the training this week, thinking, he probably would have. I'd imagine he probably would have gone up to Teddy like, "Fuck, this hasn't come from me. Like, I got to go speak to the art dealer."
Yeah. The art dealer should learn to shut his mouth. To be honest, mate, like you can't put this kid under this much pressure. Like even not now, not leading into the semi-finals, and don't bring Tedesco's name into this. Yeah. This kid's a Hall of Fame player. He's nearly in immortal status. Like he's been our best player in the last 5 years. He's done everything in the game. He's a captaincy. He's what he does off the field, on the field. Everything is impeccable. I get it. Suwali is the next big thing. I don't even know what position he's going to be. I'm not looking at him going, he's going to be a fullback, a Tom Trebojevic or anything like that. I think he might be centre wing. I don't look at him as a fullback. Maybe he could go that in the next couple of years. I think he'd be a fullback suited to Union more, but I don't look at him as a league fullback. You know what I mean? Like, he does have that skill set. I think he will evolve into that.
So do I.
I think he will evolve into that.
But the fact that it's a maybe and he's calling Tedesco.
And he's 18.
And he's 18 years old. And 19. The thing is that little kid, that kid has to front up to training. And he's a shy, young, humble kid. And he's got to fucking face Tedesco. Even though Teddy wouldn't know it's not coming from him. Still that weird energy between players. It's like, fuck, did you, like, why'd you let that, why you got that dude around you for?
Who's that? Who is this
Teddy
cunt?
be looking sideways at him. You don't want that shit.
Yeah.
And even though Teddy's not like that, it's out. Like, who is this dude?
Man, does anyone know what he looks like?
Yeah. All the boys will be like, who is this cunt? Like,
everyone just be like,
what's his crack?
Get your boy out of your circle. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even know him. Like, I get it, mate. Suwali's going to be a superstar, but you don't make outlandish bullshit things like that right now. Do them in the preseason. Not coming up to... And then Teddy plays that game on the weekend. Like, he was outstanding, and you still say that shit.
The timing is so weird.
Yeah, I think it came after the game after he just killed it too.
It was just like...
And Joey didn't play.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And it's nothing against Joey, again.
Hasn't played fullback in the NRL. Do you know what I mean? If Teddy missed half the year and then Suwali's played the next half and then Teddy's injured and he's coming back trying to... And it's like... All right, then you've got grounds to say some shit like this, art dealer. Other than that, keep your mouth shut and let Suwali just grow into the man that he is and the player that he is and let him evolve as a human. And don't come in this little bit of in the media and say outlandish shit because it puts pressure on him at training and just like just in the social side of things, like just in the media throughout players. Like he had so many front and back headlines before he even played first grade, this kid. And he's the most humble kid, and he would have fucking hated having all that sort of shit.
He handled
in
it
there.
so well.
He actually hated having all that. He's never played a game. I remember talking to him a couple of years ago when I was doing some sprint training. And he hadn't even played a game, but he was front and center everywhere. And there was not one comment from him saying, I'm going to be this. It was everyone else. So he can't help that. But he needs to have a quick word to the art dealer and just say, mate, shut your mouth. Let me play and let me get my runs on the board. Yeah. You just shut your mouth. And whatever you do for me, you do. And if you don't do it good enough, you're out. If you keep this shit up, you're done. Because I don't need this. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Let's don't put pressure on me like that.
And of all
that
people,
is pressure. And that's just like, and of all people, you say it about the nicest bloke in the world and the greatest player that we have, Tedesco. It ain't like you got, I'm not even going to name some of these awful fullbacks that are around. But, you know, you just, who we got?
Don't.
There's a plethora of good fullbacks around, but
I think
some
the point of
ones.
that is like, and I know they're different players, but in terms of young gun prospects at the Roosters who were gunning for fullback spots, there's two ways to approach it. Roger had Minicello ahead of him. He stayed on the wing. He learnt. He shut the fuck up. And when he was ready to become a fullback, he didn't leak out there that they needed to move Mini to the wing. He just signed somewhere else.
And Mini waited on the wing for ages as well.
Yeah. And remember they
because I think Cleary was the fullback.
And they'd get in good ball, and then they'd switch them. Like there's room to move. If back end
Luke
of
Phillips, Luke Diamond Phillips.
Yeah,
the Diamond was absolutely on fire. 01, 02.
Kick returns of doom.
And Mini was coming up, and he was playing on the wing.
And they did it with Roger then.
And the only reason why Mini went to fullback was because he was playing so good on the wing, and then Lockie moved to 5'8". He moved Lockie to 5'8". It's fucking big. That's big. Yeah. You asked me when you talk to Mini about that. He knows. He moved the goat to 5'8".
That's nice to have on the resume.
That is a good one to have on your resume. Because I was in the team, I was like, fuck, you just moved Lockie to 5'8". He goes, yeah, on the grouse. That's right, on the grouse. You know how he talks. Oh, I love Mini.
The art dealer must be close to him.
Art dealer must be one of his.
He must. The art dealer. You don't get throwing that shit around willy nilly. He must be really close with him. But still, fuck. If you are,
the media love that shit too.
Joey, you got to be careful who you have in your circle. And art dealer, if you are lucky enough to be in his circle, don't throw the only cunt in the NRL that people know you through under the bus like this.
Is he
especially when he's such a good
cred?
kid?
He's trying to get some clout.
He's trying to get some cred.
Ooh.
He must have. He's got street cred. He's got. What do they call it?
God, I'd love to see him in a game and he just comes up and goes, Mase, I'm the art dealer. Yeah. I'll fucking laugh so hard in his face. I was just saying, I heard what you said on the YKT. Yeah, I fucking meant it too.
Yeah.
There he is, a photo of him with Craig Wing. That's what he looks like.
Oh, he knows Wingy.
There we go. Now it's all coming.
What's his name for a giggle?
His name is Steve Natseki.
Natseki.
You heard of him, mate?
Yeah.
No. I prefer the art dealer.
Yeah. Art dealer. He looks like an art dealer.
Google him a little bit more. What's the go? I want to find out about him.
I'll find out.
Wikipedia him, please.
I'll find out a little bit about him
for a giggle.
As we roll on, But let's rip in scope. Let's move on to Latrell.
Yep.
Speaking of GOAT fullbacks, Latrell was coming under a bit of criticism at the moment just for his recent comments around the treatment that he copped on the weekend. So you would have seen a lot of Roosters fans.
What did he say?
Just a lot of Roosters fans.
Oh, they're hammering him.
Booing him and
God,
stuff.
What does he expect?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Go. You start on it.
I think
he's got to embrace it.
I think Latrell does embrace that.
Well, that's the point.
Did he say something?
So what he said is he said Adam Goods. He referenced Adam Goods.
Okay.
He said Goods gave up because of all this stuff. It's fucking shit. But the argument is now saying you can't really be about it one week and then you cop the booze and. You know what I mean?
Is he taken out of context there or anything like that? Did he reference Goods as in like the racism or anything like that?
So I read the full quote. I think that was probably the line he was towing, but he didn't go as far as to say that.
He'd maybe be implying it.
Oh man, I hope not. I hope that the Roosters fans are pretty, like just giving him shit about kicking all that kind of stuff. No, hopefully no racist. Otherwise, he would have called him out.
So that's
he
what
would have called him out. So like Trell's Trell is that sort of dude. I mean, I think he can. Man, he copped it on the weekend. He did. He was, especially when his goal kicking, the way they played against him. Like they made him play. Like every they didn't even want to kick it to the wingers. They just kicked it to him, and they had about like 10 people rushing him. And I thought he handled it well. Like, I mean, they stopped him from playing his best game because they know how dangerous he is. But I mean, hopefully the fans are just being fans and just taking the piss and no racism. Because I think if it was racism, Latrell would have said something.
Here you go. I'm just going through some of the articles here. Chez goes, boo-hoo, Kiri won't cop Latrell's crowd complaint. Hey, I'm heavy Latrell. I love Latrell. We've done stuff with him. When I look at Latrell, he reminds me like a guy like you, Mase, like massive public figure. How many teams wanted to see you bad? Yeah, there'll be a few bad eggs. And if he's referring to, some of the people taking it too far, then I've got no time for that at all. If people are saying racial remarks to him, then he should, hopefully he identifies them and you get them out of the game straight away. But the reason I love Latrell is because he backed himself 2 weeks ago, said, he wants more people to be, when he's kicking goals and fucking slamming the South logo because they're down by 10 and he's trying to get his team behind it. The fucking opposition fans are going to come at you. Yeah. You were the best at it, mate. Yeah. Like during your time, before we'd met, I hated the Bulldogs. I hated you. I wanted to see you go bad. I was like a Roosters SG Ball junior, and you were always telling the Roosters. So, my favourite thing was to go against you, go against Sonny, go against Ren. Then I'd be fucking meet you all and become mates with you. And it's like, I was conflicted there for a year or two. But as a fan of the game, at 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, I wanted to see you lose. I wanted to see fucking Crocs smack you. I wanted to see Adrian Morley run over top of you. So he just has to embrace that.
He does. And I thought
he's smart. He's smart enough.
He's smart enough. I think the question, I don't know, he'd probably been interviewed for 5 minutes. People need to understand that. There would have been camera after camera, 100 questions, and then they would have said, what do you think about the crowd? And he would have said, it was a bit out,
Yeah,
probably just would have got over answering the same sort of question all the time. So you got to understand, people need to understand when they do have these media scrums and everyone's about Latrell, you get into 100 million questions asked 100 million times different ways. They slice it in 1,000 different ways. So people don't understand that. So they're going to take this little bit of a fucking thing out, make Latrell look like he's whinging. Well, Latrell probably doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? He's going to handle his business. He knows what it's like. He expects that shit. He's played Origin before. He's played up in there in Queensland at Suncorp. He fucking knows what's going on there. You got 50,000 there hating your guts. And he's playing there. It was he had most South supporters. That was one of the best spectacles I've seen for the NRL for ages.
That was sick.
It was great.
It was awesome.
I think he'll really embrace that this week and he'll understand the fans, as long as the fans do not overstep like that Adam Goods shit. What they did Adam Goods was fucking wrong. And if Australia don't learn from that sort of stuff, then we haven't grown.
Yeah, he was getting booed every time he got the ball
remarks,
before
man. He was getting called some shit. I wouldn't even
100%.
Yeah, but hopefully he doesn't get to that level with Latrell.
So
because the way they might ask the question was like, Latrell, do you think it reminds you of Adam Goods? Yeah, it sort of does. That's all he had to say because they've already got the fucking headline waiting there. They'll compare it to Adam Goods. So you got to understand how the media works. They've got all these fucking questions, and all you have to do is say yes. And if they say, does it remind you of how Adam Goods got treated? And all he had to say was, a little bit. Well, there you go, Latrell thinks so. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to understand how the media works. You're a journalist, you understand.
Yeah, Jack has a journo.
You got that. They've already got that shit in their head. Now, ask a billion questions. They get you when you're fucking over the whole shit. You still keep answering these fucking questions. They're boring as hell. All he wants to do is get in the fucking shower and ice bath so he can go home.
We used to do it all the time. So, if you were going into let's say the Kiwis-Tonga game, for example, I knew going in my head that the story I wanted to write was Nelson versus Jason Tamalolo. So I asked Tamalolo directly, are you looking forward to take on Nelson or Sof Solomon? Regardless of what he says, that's going to be my headline. So
exactly.
It does.
And that's exactly how I know how it works. I know the game. You know what I mean? And it's just, you already know what they're going to think. And that's exactly how they got Latrell. They know he got booed the whole time, and it's Adam Goods, all that kind of stuff. Adam Goods got booed, but he got racially vilified and fucking hammered all over the country for a whole year. This is one game, and Latrell has copped his bit, but nothing compares to what Adam Goods got. But they're trying to say, if it keeps going, you know what I mean? I understand how the media works. They're trying to get a story. It's semi-final football, all that sort of shit. And it was a hostile crowd, man. But it could change on Sunday. It's going to be a hostile crowd again, but fucking South could be in the lead.
To pad your point, Mase, before you go, Scope, exactly what you said was, it was a very long answer because he kept getting asked the same question. What he said was he qualified it throughout the whole thing. He was going, but it's all good. Keep doing. I don't care. But he kept on saying, it was a bit much, but it's fair play.
They just kept going and prodding and waiting for him to slip up that one little thing so they can have this fucking headline. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Mace's best point, main point out of all this too, is one thing you realise, especially when it gets to finals time, what they'll do is they'll have a media scrum. And a lot of the time, the boys just, at this time of the year, boys don't want to do media scrums anyway. No. They want to do, if they do anything media, they want to be in a controlled environment doing fucking with someone that they respect or someone that they've
One-on-one
got a
with Danny
relationship.
Widler, one-on-one with, like even like PK or someone like that with a Telegraph. Not these fucking scrums where they just hold their little mics in and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, but you get that. But you get that at training these days when they go, all right, Latrell's up this week.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, everyone wants to speak to Latrell. They've got 100 questions.
So then it'll go on for 20 minutes, and Latrell and other players will get that bored of answering the same questions and being, especially Latrell. He's such a fucking free-minded, says whatever he what's on his mind. So you do that shit long enough. Eventually, you're going to come up with something like this, and then you slipped up a little bit by saying this, and now everyone's just fucking jumping on it. But he'll be sweet.
He'll be sweet.
He'll be sweet. Embrace it, Trell, mate.
Loves it,
That's why we love you, baby.
The one thing it does open up is if he thought the boos were loud last week,
They're going to be massive now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
he won't give a fuck. But
And he won't care because he loves that shit. He's Trell Mitt. He loves that shit.
Joel Mitt loved that shit.
Love that shit. I just want him to see him. Yeah, I just want to see him
Giggle
have a great game.
Giggle from Chez too, going like he's getting on the front foot as well now
hilarious.
because they're them two are close.
Who's that? Kiri's
Kiri's
tough up.
Yeah, he goes.
Toughen up or
Kiri
something.
goes. Won't cop Latrell's boo-hoo.
I love it.
But that's not
they've
necessarily
got a
what Kiri
fucking,
wrote as well. But those two are close.
Not a long memory, eh? Like he won you the two grand finals.
Yeah,
Two
exactly. But they're different teams now,
I know
so
that. And
you
this is the
fucking go at
biggest
each other.
rivalry in the game.
Yeah.
Trust me, that's what I've been doing. I do stuff for the TAB. I was in Redfern, interviewing people, and then I went to Bondi. And it was like the disparity in between two places, like everyone, like Redfern hats, all that kind, like Rabbitohs hats, loving fucking coming up, having a chat. And I did the fucking Bondi, the Esplanade. Any Roosters fans? Like, I reckon it was no from about 30 people straight away. I only got like probably about 4 or 5 interviews, but it made it look good because they're just like one genuine Roosters fan.
Yeah.
One genuine. All the rest was sort of, I was just like, can you just say you're a Roosters fan? Do you
try
like
to-
footy? Do you like footy? What is football, huh?
Yeah, we tried to go give YKTR a kit out down at on Bondi Beach one time. No one wanted free kit. Like we were just like everywhere else we go, like you go hand that shit out. They're like grateful as. The only people that accepted it were construction workers that were working from out west. They're like YKTR, and we're like, yeah, sweet. When
Mate, they're the best Bondi people, mate.
Bondi just fucking in there.
It's hard to find. I was talking to most of the lifesavers there because I know most of the boys from Bondi Rescue. They're mad Roosters fans, and a few of the guys you can sort of tell, but everyone else they're not from Bondi. You know what I mean? Like you don't go to Bondi if you're from Bondi. You go somewhere else, or they go hang out somewhere else. It was pretty funny, but just the no. Hommies, Frenchies.
Let's roll on, Skip. The Broncos, obviously, going into last week, they were a chance. They did end up missing the 8. What's come out of that is the Kevvy chat. Whenever a team misses the 8 after sitting 4th a month ago. So the question becomes, does Kevvy deserve to be under pressure? And then obviously Gordy has come out in support of his mate, as he typically does in these situations. But your reaction to A, the Broncos missing the 8, and then B, does Kevvy deserve to be under pressure, Skip?
Yeah, one of the points that Gordy brought up I thought was so spot on, and he's sort of having a crack at the West Tigers about changing coaches. It's a great point.
Yeah, it was.
He said, if you keep changing all your coaches all the time, you end up becoming like clubs like West Tigers where they just keep moving on.
He's like, no disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect, but mad respect.
Disrespect.
Or mad disrespect to the Tigers. But I don't know. Like I've said it for a while, Mase. I don't think Kev's the guy. It's a tough position because he's a legend of the club. So these things are always going to be difficult because, he's opposite to Manly. It's more like Des has got the runs on the board, won competitions, a legend of the club, and people from up top don't want him there. Yeah. And it's like, Kevvy's the opposite. He hasn't got the runs on the board as a coach. He's obviously a club legend still, but he's got, by the sounds of it, he's got full support from everyone there, and it's more about the players. It's almost like the exact opposite to what's happening at Manly.
I just don't understand how, I think I read a stat, what position they were in just say 3 weeks ago. It was fucking impossible for them to miss the 8.
Yeah, it was fourth with a plus 100.
And they've done
margin.
it.
Yeah.
They've done the impossible stat-wise. They've let in a ridiculous amount of points and lost all the games that they have, and then Canberra's obviously done their job. And I was just when I read that, I think it was from Clarkie's whatever he does.
Clarkie's column?
Clarkie's column. And I was just like, holy shit. You couldn't imagine you'd be in that position if you were the Brisbane team.
It started at the Tigers,
how
right?
The fuck
The loss to the Tigers.
Yeah, well, the argument, like what Mase is saying, is if it was the other way around and you had to do the opposite of what the Broncos did to get in the 8, you start using the word mathematical, you would have just kicked your feet up.
Yeah,
and,
you're done. Yeah,
we're not a chance.
And I just I understand from Gordy sticking up for his mate. He's won premierships with him. He's played over 200 games with him, Kangaroo Tours. So you got that brotherhood. You're never going to say
100%.
anything about it. Just say one of my.
I'm biased towards Chez on this take as well.
And
I'm going to be biased
towards coaches that I've been coached by and players that are still playing. You just have that. You'd be an arsehole if you didn't stick up for Kevvy.
100%.
Gordy's like that. And he's all about his boys. All about boys, all about Queensland, all about all his mates that he's won grand finals with, and they're really good friends. I honestly don't think Kevvy deserves to be sacked. You've got to have some accountability as players. Come on, man. Like, they just played atrocious. You've been at clubs you played around. The game hasn't changed. Like, Kevvy cannot install into you your energy and like your will and all these things that you have to control. He can't do that for you.
Yeah.
He can set a game plan up. He can do all the X's and O's, but you need to fucking go out there and nail it. Like, he can't be responsible for your energy being down or how hard you want to run, your will, all these little things that you are accountable for. Kevvy can't do that. And you put him in a fucking unbelievable position, and the players put themselves in an unbelievable position to make a good run for it this year. And they blew it. So I think coaches should cop a little bit of accountability, but it's not like the NFL where you are in the fucking quarterback's ears and you are running plays 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's up to the players. You know what I mean? And I understand if you've got, just say, 10 players like trying to revolt and they're signing shit like Manly are, do you want Kevvy as your coach? None of that shit's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just fell over. Really, really bad.
I will say, Jacko,
Yeah,
just
go.
quickly before we move, before you have your take on this. So the next day after we, do the show, sometimes I'll go on and I'll respond to constructive criticism, or just say if we had a take, I'll go and respond and go, oh my God, this is why I did it. And then there's always there's this one guy that thinks I've got a vendetta against Kevvy or the Broncos. We send Kit to Katoni Staggs, fucking chat to Paddy Carrigan. Adam Reynolds has done content for us for fucking 2 or 3 years.
Dude?
He's just trying to get a bite, right? So, and I'm sort of giving him what he wants now by saying this. But if there are other people that think that we want this to happen, or I want coaches to lose their jobs or anything,
We're not 360.
It's the complete opposite.
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. So just shout out to all the players. Just say people doing podcasts like this, and even my podcast. We don't want anyone to get sacked.
Yeah.
We're not sitting there saying we just say we're just real. We don't have a narrative, mate. So just grow up. No one gives a fuck about Kevvy.
100%.
Saying what we want.
I think.
What were you going to say, Jacko?
Well, I was just going to say,
Kevvy's a great bloke. Sorry, Kevvy's a
Legend.
Kevvy's a legend of the club.
There's not one person I haven't said.
His runs haven't been on the board as a winning coach, all that kind of stuff. They've been building. They built this. They were looking fucking good this year, and then they fell over. And you can't blame Kevvy. What was he doing at training? Just not coaching? Just sitting there, just going, just run your own plays, guys. No, you're not. He would have been putting in more work and all that kind of stuff. It's just as I said, he can't control your attitude and everything that you bring to the game that is not the X's and O's. You know what I mean? He can't do that. It's up to you you've got to have accountability. Players need to have more accountability than coaches.
I think Broncos, if they keep Kevvy, they'll make the top 8 next year.
100%.
With Reece Walsh on the way. I think it'll bring out the best in Reece Walsh being back home, because I've been watching him closely since the decision's been made, and he gets a bad rap as well. Reece Walsh will do good at the Broncos around his boys. And
Carrigan.
despite where they
Carrigan.
were, Carrigan's gun. Paddy Tough Carrigan.
As soon as
your favourite player.
But he got suspended and they lost every single game.
Bang. Yeah.
Love you, Carrigan. My boy.
I think to Mace's point, Scope, if you had said, so to give guys a bit of context, the Broncos finished 14th last year. They had 7 wins with a minus 250 points differential. This year they doubled their wins. They finished 9th, one spot out of the 8 with a minus 13 points differential. So if they hadn't been going so well and sitting 4th, if you had just said at the end of last year,
if they were 8th,
if you had just said at the end of last year, hey, listen, you guys are going to sign Adam Reynolds, you're going to double your wins, and you're going to improve to 9th.
Please.
Everyone at the club would have probably taken that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, just say this going into next year, they'll
just 'cause of
build.
how
They don't
good
really
they were
lose that many. I don't think they lose. I think guys like Flegler will be a better player. Payne Haas was
Fucking
injured
oath.
most of the time, half the season. Carrigan, they're all carrying injuries.
Carrigan's turned into one of the elite forwards of the game.
Reynolds was injured in a very, very important part of the year, so they had no leadership. The wingers are guns. The centers are guns.
The
Like,
emergence
they've got
of
these
Ezra
young
Mann,
kids
yeah.
coming up. It's a production lineup there. Everyone wants to be a Bronco. It's just about like, and this preseason will be important for them. And next year, I reckon they will be like a shoe-in for the top 8.
Sure.
They'll be so fucking angry this year. They're sitting on Mad Monday going, how the fuck did we do that? And someone's like, well, you should have scored this many points.
Did Gamble sign for the Knights too?
Yeah,
2 years.
little Tyson.
I listened back to that podcast too because when we talked about it, I was driving in. I heard a snippet of it on.
I knew he was at Newcastle.
Yeah. So did I.
We just didn't want to ruin it for fucking Newcastle
Well, this
and
is the
everyone
thing.
else. Imagine blowing it for Tyson.
Yeah, but I listened to the podcast. That was like he was talking glowingly about Adam Reynolds for like 2 minutes into, his comments around Kevvy were fucking nowhere near as bad as what it.
Of course,
that
it's
little
not.
snippet.
It's never.
So
it's never. Like, and Kevvy would know that. If you're Tyson, go, Kevvy, listen to what I said, man. If you feel like I fucking said anything bad against you, bro, come on, man.
Go listen to it.
Come on, go listen to it. Like, do you know what a podcast is, Kevvy? Come on, man. Get on here.
He might not, Kevvy.
Come on, Kevvy.
100% he won't.
We can't. I've been struggling to get coaches for a minute. I want to get
what
BA.
coaches, who do you
I
reckon?
want to get Brad Arthur. I'll get along with BA. Yeah, but we nearly had him last year, but then he
Madge
pulled.
Madge does potties, doesn't he?
Yeah, we're trying to get Madge on too.
Yeah, we were close to
I want to get Robbo but I want to get Robbo on and talk
Trent
NFL.
Robbo's good.
I want to talk
Yeah.
NFL with him, like his experience by going overseas.
Rams and Bills, who you got? Anyway, just a little shout out there.
He loves his fantasy and shit, so we could talk for fucking not years.
Who you
years a
got?
bit.
Just quick pick. Bills or Rams?
Bills.
Josh Allen and Diggs. Come on, man.
I got Joe Burrow MVP this year.
What?
MVP.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's not get off track. We'll do a whole show.
Yeah.
We're here for 3 days.
Yeah.
I've got Rams, Mace, just quietly.
Oh, man.
Let's move on
Cooper
to
Kupp's
the
getting flogged this year.
the Sharks. Got the home final skip, finished second, somehow still flying under the radar, but they have sold out Shark Park. But the question has
Wow,
sort of
it's
been
fucking 20
11 and a half of the best.
It's
It's 11,500.
Come on, man. They should have put it at Allianz.
That's the question, mate.
That's
Go
the
ahead.
Is that the question? Oh, okay.
Sharks
all
get
right.
home final. Should the
Come
finals
on,
be
bro.
played at
Like,
stadium with the
mate,
capacity?
I would. So they're playing the Cowboys, so you're going to get most of Cronulla. You're going to get all the Cronulla.
gonna
boys.
be all
North
Cronulla.
Queensland's going to be nothing. They're going to have no one there.
It's just going to be Chad Townsend's family.
Just had Chad Townsend's family, and that's it.
And Val. Isn't Val?
And
from
Val.
there?
Yeah, Val's from there
So
as
you
well.
probably
No,
got-
Val's Queensland. He's always...
I know, but he played at Cronulla.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but he'd have a
Chad
few
Townsend's
mates. He'd have a
family's
few.
from
He'd
around
have
that
to
area,
give
I
his
think.
4 tickets out to his mates. That's it. So I reckon they've really blown it there. I get it, Shark Park, but it's not one of those parks where you're like, damn, I'm fucking playing Shark Park. Yeah, I get it. On a Saturday night, it sucks, but it's not. They're not hostile or anything like that.
And they're still developing it
It's
too.
still developing it. It's going to be a good, in a couple of years, it'd be good to have a home final there. But mate,
It's not even Brookie. Brookie can get 20.
No, Brookie's hostile. You know that. They sit on that hill, they can go crazy. Cronulla's are just a little bit chilled. You know what I mean? You get your diehards and everything like that, but they just they go there, they love their Sharkies, they sit there and watch. But I reckon if you had Allianz, I reckon you'd sell it out.
The boys will be cheering, the Sharkies boys. Fucking, it's going to be grouse. 11,500.
They've also
I
been...
think it'd be great. I'm just saying, I mean, as
Yeah.
a
fan of the game, no, I don't want it there.
And if I'm running a business,
Yeah.
I'm going, Allianz, whatever, get me that paper. I'm getting, I reckon at least 35,000 would turn up.
Yeah.
Because I think the Sharkies come out of nowhere. Remember a couple of years ago when they made that run, 2016, they packed out the Allianz Stadium, packed it out. You know
Yeah,
what
we
I mean?
had-
So
we
I
had,
don't know.
uh,
I just don't understand.
In 13, we had a finals game against them at Allianz.
Yeah, it was massive.
And it was about 4.
Yeah.
What was the
It was
capacity?
39,
back then?
40.
It would have been 30,
Yeah.
40,000. Yeah.
11
11 and a half's not
So
good
get
enough.
it, just say, just Penrith. Penrith can pack it out and you've got all these fucking crazy redneck Penrith dudes.
Yeah.
They're going to go mad. Parramatta, you're going to have a whole thing at Parramatta Stadium. Combank, whatever it is.
Bank West.
Bank West, Combank, whatever bank you want. Anything else is not really a home ground advantage. And I think just because they are playing the Cowboys, they should have went to Allianz because they would have got more. If they were playing any Sydney team, I'm like, nah, leave it here. Leave it at Cronulla because I want all our 11,500 there. But if I'm playing Cowboys, they're not travelling. They're going to be probably 5,000 Cowboys fans there. Maybe.
Max.
Because they do travel. They do travel.
5,000, 11.
I'm just saying, if
they'll
it
get
was at
500.
if it
It'll
was
be
at
11.
Allianz, there'll be 500. Yeah.
Yeah, Shark Park is. I mean, it has been a fortress for them this year, so I get it. If you're a Cronulla fan, you'd
I
be cheering,
totally get it.
but-
If I was a player, I'm like, I don't want to play at Allianz either.
Fucking oath.
You know what I mean? I want to sit right here.
We
from
got-
the commercial business
and I
side.
travel 5 minutes. Yeah, for business wise, you have a look at you look at things different now when you're old, and you're like, well, it's not that smart a move by
Yeah,
Cronulla. Oh, did they have the option to play there?
I don't think it was an. Oh well, the discussion was
Because I'm thinking, if you're
last
CEO
week,
and you had the option to play at Allianz, you'd take it. Because, I mean,
it's a good question.
I think
I
when
don't
we
know.
I honestly don't think they had the option.
I think when we were at Manly, we got our home final taken away from us against South. We finished second. I could be wrong. I mean, thereabouts. Because I remember we lost the last round in 14 to win the minor premiership. So we must have fallen to second, and then we didn't get to play home final.
That was when that was the old 2
That was
versus
the
7.
old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
No. It was 2 versus 3. It was against South.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Well, South might have got second.
The old
No.
McIntyre system was a giggle, 1v8.
That was fucked.
2v7.
I remember in 2001, I think I told you, like, we were out, bang, bang. In 2001, we finished second.
Yeah.
Beat by St. George and then St. George again. I was like, fuck this. This is ridiculous.
It's when the old Warriors used to knock over the Melbourne Storm skip.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good. That was
yeah.
good back then, man.
1 versus 8. The old
In
Michael
2003, they pumped us in the prelim
Yeah.
in 03
Oh, yeah.
by 40.
That was the old Ali Lyle TT
Fucking
days.
Clinton Toopy. Like,
Francis
first time
Melly.
seeing, Francis Melly,
Henry Farfilly.
fucking,
Ali
Jerry
Laltiti,
Sisu,
Gutenbill.
Gutenbill, Logan Swan, all those lads, they pumped, Monty Beetham, they pumped us big time. Remember fucking, who's the little fella from, played for Parramatta, a little halfback?
PJ Marsh.
PJ Marsh.
PJ
He was on
Marsh
fire
was-
2003.
yeah, he
He played
killed it.
Origin and everything.
He killed it.
02, he played Origin, killed it. We played at the Showground, I think, and they just, by 40. Like Clinton Toopy, he was best centre in the
Yeah.
world that year.
Torps
and
was silky.
He got Nigel Vungana like his idol, and he felt so bad. He felt awful.
Clint Torpy's one of the. I was
Torps
lucky
was
enough.
awesome,
he
man.
captained me for the New Zealand Māoris in 2010,
Yeah.
and that was like when you meet guys like Mase and Clinton Torpy and all these sorts of players that that was one of the moments I was like, oh, shit, this is pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
This is
Torps
cool
is
as.
good, man. He's
You
doing
like
some
how
My
good things
first year
too.
of NRL too.
Do you like how I snuck in some revisionist Warriors history?
Yeah,
there?
you're good.
It's just straight up.
Yeah.
Just
He loves it.
Unrelated.
Game
Did
of the
you see-
week.
Did you see Shaq?
Game of the week, Warriors.
Shaq reposted the Afika Paliasina highlights. Did you see
Oh,
that?
did he?
Oh no, dude.
Shaq
Man,
put-
yeah, they had him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, coming off the bench. That dude was like,
Yeah.
some of those clips I was in. When they're playing against those Dogs, yeah, oh my, I think Pricey, fucking, we're playing in Wellington in 2003, and he was just this young bull. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? So I seen like a couple of games before, we're like, this Paliasina kid is coming off the bench and just ruining teams by himself. I'm like, what the fuck? So like, we're playing at Wellington, the big cake tin, all that kind of stuff. And when we're playing there, they used to pack it out. It was our home ground.
Yeah.
It was not a home ground advantage. But they were packing it out.
Yeah.
So Dogs, we played there 1, 2, and 3. So 2003 hit the scene. And then we played there and he's just come off the bench and he's ran. So it's like Pricey, Ogre, and me. And he just did not give a fuck. And Pricey got him.
Yeah, did he?
Pricey got him a beauty. So he was running here, like, so Ogre's there, I'm here, and Pricey must have blind shotted him and bang, pumped him on his back.
Yeah, fuck.
I was like, hey,
Is he-
Pricey.
he's the-
'Cause
the-
this is Paliasina's prime sort of. He hit the scene like when he was like real fit, sort of young bull, the little goosey
Yeah.
into fucking more power. So like he powered up after the goosey.
Little Super Saiyan
Little
move.
super, and then,
Carmeo.
oh man, I was just like, just run the fucking other side. Yeah, Pricey got him. We just stood there, went.
He's the
"Oh."
greatest off the back fence or run it straight challenge player of all time.
Of all time. Him and Ogre used to go at it, mate. I'm Ogre. You just take Paliasina, mate.
Ogre had it, but he just wasn't as quick. So
Yeah,
like,
not leg speed or anything, but like,
he just ran it straight every time
in
as well.
2004, our run to the grand final. I think we beat the Warriors over there, but regardless, they weren't in the 8, but they had a fucking beast of a team. It was one of those years where they had a fucking beast of a team, but they just didn't they lost like 10 games by 2. You know what I mean? And then but they still had a gun team, but we had these young kids like Rennie and Tong, Sonny Bill, Ogre, and myself. So it was that real Polynesian sort of vibe as well. So it gets fucking tribal. And fucking Ogre and Paliasina, Sonny Bill, everyone was going ballistic. It was one of the most brutal games I've ever seen. It was the last game of the round. We're like, we should go over here and take. We're like, no, we don't take fucking anyone easy, especially these guys. And we just went out there. It was a fucking. Even though the game got away from New Zealand, you watch. If there's footage of that fucking game, 04 last round coming
will
into
dig
the
it up.
semis, that's what got us like prime. I've never seen any fucking bigger hits in my life. Like Sonny Bill was pumping blokes. Like this young 18, 19-year-old, they all knew him. They all loved him.
Yeah.
Ogre's fucking knocking out Paliasina and Toopy and shit. Like I was just sitting there just going, oh, well done, boys.
They would have known
Obviously, I
about
was
Sonny
involved,
playing
but I was
juniors at
just like,
Auckland and that.
fuck. Yeah, they all knew that
Yeah.
kid. They were like, how the fuck we let him go?
It's been my dream on the sports show to have 10 minutes on Paliasina, so I'm happy.
Oh, God, shout out to Big Paliasina, Big
Big-
Fecker. I love him, mate.
Yeah.
All right, Scabe, let's roll on. Last one before we get into the preview. A South member has missed out on the chance to buy finals tickets And the NRL's had a bit of a blunder here. They've had to,
NRL gave the Selfs members the wrong code, so they missed out on all their tickets. It's such a.
That's
It's
not
such,
just a fucking Roosters supporter right
that's,
there.
that's what I think. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm like,
Oh, he's sitting there going, oh, you
and
silly.
the NRL is Nick Politis fucking PA. Who said it?
It's Nick's PA.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my God,
Yeah.
he's just gone in
this
there. Nick's
Reeks,
gone, here's the new QR code of the grand final, guys.
yeah, this reeks of
You going to the grand final?
conspiracy theory. No, I'm going away. I've got a
You
Bucks
away?
party.
Alright.
Yeah, I've got a Bucks party the whole
You know, it's
weekend.
Hoz's birthday everyone today, so give him
thank
some,
you,
give him
thank
some
you.
love. Happy birthday,
nice
Hozzy.
to get.
Cheers, boys.
You
Yeah.
didn't even know. I was the first one to say, you guys are fucked. You just work with him every day.
Happy birthday, Skip.
I come
Happy
rolling
40th.
in there. First thing I say, what was that, Hoz? Happy birthday, bro.
That's why you're the OG.
And
That's why you're triple OG.
Yeah, and I have the worst memory. It's talking about Shaq.
Yeah, we don't have to put much on that. That's more of a giggle. I just want to chuck that in for a giggle. But
Yeah.
Mase, before we move on to potential champions and try to pick who comes first, well, that now it doesn't make sense actually. But in the bedroom anyway, champions don't come first. Steady Freddy is a doctor formulated delay spray that helps guys last longer in bed. Look, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. PE happens to 1 and 3 guys. There's 4 guys in the room right now, so
Who is it?
one of us.
Luke, for sure.
Take your game to the next level. Steady Freddy, apparently it's Luke, is here to help you go the extra distance. They've also released a multivitamin specifically for male sexual health called Ball Boost. You love that one, Mase?
Love
Check it
it.
out, steadyfreddy.com, and use the code YKTR15 and get 15% off your first order. That's steadyfreddy.com and use code YKTR15.
Well done, Skip. All right, let's rip in. Finals week 1 starts on Friday night. We spoke about it upstairs, Mace, but in terms of matchups, every game here is like dream case scenario for the NRL. It starts with the Battle of the
100%.
West. Parramatta taking on the Penrith Panthers scope. The line is -8.5. Panthers are slightly favoured. Over or under is 40.5.
I like Parramatta. They're the one of the teams. So what I'll do is I'll tell you a few of my X factors for each team, Mase, and then you can give us your thoughts on it. I like Parra with the 8-point head start. I think this is going to be unders. I think most of these games will be based around defence. All of these games, like this is the best of the best going up against each other, and there's no fucking poor games in any of these. I will say I was watching the Parramatta game. And when Makatoa got
Makatoa.
put on in the final 15 minutes and then Jakey Arthur got chucked on to give Reid Marnie a spell in the last maybe 10, for me the X factor for Penrith is going to be the bench. It's more of a reflection on Parramatta's lack of bench, and BA, I think it's important, like you talked about, all grand final winning teams, mate, your fucking bench was elite. You got to have good benches. You got to have a good rotation in big games back to back consecutively. I think Penrith's bench will be an X factor. A couple of boys have won grand finals there, obviously. I think Parramatta's X factor has to be the Parramatta wingers. So you know how a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Penrith's catch and drive back, slow death sort of tackle.
Back 5, really. 'Cause
They dominate
really
field
get into
position.
it, don't
Yeah.
they?
So Micah Sevo and Wonga Blake have been unreal in the past month. They have to fucking set the tone. Their carries have to be the best carries that they've had all year. They've got to really get into them. They've got to make sure that they don't get caught by Isaiah Yell and the James Fisher-Harris and get picked up and
Kick out's
carried
the
back.
best at it.
100%. Got to get their fucking...
Liam Martin.
What are they, got to get
Body
their
centre of gravity.
center of gravity down, get nice and low, try to get quick play of the balls. But one thing that stood out for me in the game against Melbourne, I thought was a real crucial part of Parramatta being legit, was Moses' tackle on Kenny Bromwich.
Yes.
So-
Jeez.
Awesome.
When you
I would have been so embarrassed if I was Kenny.
respectfully to Mitchy Moses, he's their weakest defender in the team. When you're weakest defender, you're half. Generally, it's a half, hooker, 5'8", whatever. Fullback, maybe fullback or whatever. But once a member of your spine gets under a back roll like that,
Oh, man, it's huge.
geez, everyone else in the team just fucking lifts. I thought that was a
That
real
was
crucial
huge.
moment,
That
and it
was
could
huge,
be.
man.
It made me think. All right, I've seen enough of Parra now. They're legit for me.
Yeah,
Mate.
yeah, I'm the same. I'm with Parra. And I was just saying, I know what Penrith's game plan will be. It will be like the kicking game from Cleary, and it will be their +3 after that.
Yeah.
They want to jam you in those corners, and they want you kicking from about your 40, and then they'll put this massive kick pressure on, so they catch it on their 30. They win that sort of ground game, and then hopefully you make mistakes, and they'll capitalise on that. That's what they play, and they're consistent at it. And Parramatta, if they want to win, they need to be just like willing to grind with these guys. Willing to grind. You know what I mean? Like play exactly the same game. Moses got a great kicking game. Dylan Brown got a great kicking game. I look like match to match, apart from the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
As I said, when you said like Jake Arthur, I don't rate the kid. He's a spot player. Like you look at Spencer Lienu, Sorensen, Mitch Kenny, and Salmon. That's their bench.
Yeah, it's a good bench.
McIntyre,
It's so
Arthur,
versatile,
Kaufusi,
that
and
bench.
Niokore. Pretty good. I'll be looking at Jake Arthur going, can I have someone else? You know what I mean? Like, or do I just like, does what's the name play? Reed Marnie play 90? I mean, 90. I mean,
80.
like 80 minutes.
It could go 90.
Do you know what I mean? But like, I would rather, I'm not sure, like, what position is
Bryce
Jake Arthur?
Cartwright?
I'd rather Bryce
Cartwright.
Cartwright.
Yeah,
He
so
can
would
sit
I.
in there, play 9. He's really aggressive. He's got skills. He's got like...
Got X factor.
He has got X factor. I'm not sure why he's there. Because I looked at that last week and went, what the fuck is he doing on the field? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think it might show up in a big moment, I really do.
But I look at that
nothing against
It's
Jakey.
going to be against the Pack. The Pack with Leota, with Fisher Harris, they're not as big as Campbell Gillard or Junior Paulo, but they play big. You know what I mean? Their tackle tech is perfect on a Campbell Gillard.
Yeah.
For a big bloke like Campbell Gillard, he doesn't want to run at a kid who's built like fucking Leota when you're 6'6".
Interesting one. Nathan Brown given the 18 jersey. Haven't seen him for ages.
Right. That is interesting. Because
You
I
love
would
a
have
bit
him
of
off.
Nathan
I would
Brown,
have him
Lukey.
off the bench.
You love a bit of Nathan Brown, don't you?
But you know what I'm saying? Like Leota and that, they can nullify Campbell Gillard's runs because he's been playing outstanding. I thought he was outstanding on the weekend, him and Junior Paulo. That 1-2 punch, they go at it. Ryan Madison, Lane on that left edge, Papali'i on that other edge. They've got a really well-balanced side. Reed Marnie throwing darts from halfback. Moses, Brown, like they have the 13 there to win. I mean, they've had the 17. I don't think Jake Arthur's going to play that many minutes, to be honest. I just don't think so. It's just going to be, if Reed Marnie's just getting attacked through the ruck, non-stop, and if injuries happen, he can slot into a lot of places.
Yeah.
But I just look at Parramatta and go, if they don't win this year, then they'll really come back to the Pack. I mean, they're losing Reed Marnie, a couple other players, Papali'i. They've been really important from the last couple of years. And they don't.
Oregon Kaufusi off the bench. Murata Niokoro's going to the Warriors.
They are not scared of Penrith like everyone else is. They don't care.
No, they're not.
They want this. You can hear Dylan Brown said some shit this week. He goes, one team we do want is Penrith. Because they don't forget that shit what happened last year. They thought they were the better side in that semi-final.
Yep.
And I'll be thinking that too. And that's what I think they've been just sort of getting along this year in ebbs and flows, showing brilliance, showing some real shittiness and going, just get in the fucking 8 somewhere and we'll nail it. I reckon that's been their attitude all the time.
I don't mind that their shit performances do come against
I
the
didn't
shit
mind it.
teams as well. Like
We said it a couple. May said it a couple of weeks ago, and he was exactly right. I'd rather be winning against the better teams and losing against the shitter teams when concentration. As long as you get in there, they got 4th position.
They got 4th. And I mean,
They could get a week off.
Moses is very, very important for this game. He has to show up. He's going to get questioned again. If he doesn't show up, they're going to go, can he play in a big game? He wants that monkey off his fucking back.
He did step up.
He needs an MOM against fucking Penrith on
In that
Friday
preliminary last year, he was fucking unreal.
Yeah,
he did step up. They just didn't get the job done.
But they don't care when you lose, do
Yeah,
they?
exactly.
He needs the W. He needs to get man of the match or be a top 3 player on that field. He needs that. Just for his psyche.
He needs a
It's
dub.
his psychology. It's just for his psyche and his momentum heading into that next game. You're one off that grand final. And then you go all the cards in. Bang. Penrith's going to be Penrith. I'm not sure what to expect out of Cleary. You know what I mean? He's been missing for 5 weeks. I just think if this was any other club and they haven't been playing together since they were 15, I'd be a little bit worried about the cohesion.
Same.
But it's just like you've been playing with Luai, you've been playing with Abby for 3 years. They've been playing together for, most of them for like over 5 years. And I just don't think that those combinations go away. His timing might be off a little bit with his kicks because of the kick pressure, because it's going to go from 0, what he was playing in Origin, just after Origin when everyone's sort of on a bit of a lull, to fucking first semi-final against Penrith. It's going to go, and he can easily get to that level because he's fit, he's a professional, he's one of our best players. But
Reedy's
they'll
relentless.
fucking come after him, man.
Reed Marnie's relentless to kick pressure.
They will come after him, kick pressure. They'll be all over him, and he's got to, their plan B is Luai, who's not a bad kicker. Happy doesn't kick that much, but he's their main dude. So the kick pressure, the kick pressure that's going to come his way is going to be immense, and he can deal with it. But we'll see.
What a way to start.
That's going to be fucking ridiculous. I got $3 they're paying.
I want Para to win, eh?
310.
Yeah, I'm not even on the
310,
start.
yeah.
Yeah, I've taken the 3s. 310.
I think Penrith are too strong. I still think that they.
Yeah.
I think they're going to remind everyone. I think it'll be close. And
It'd be one of those
That's what I
games-
thought
it'd be
the
one
last
of
couple of
those
times when
games
they
you
played
think
Penrith.
They're going to flex and just go, get off. You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
I'm thinking, yeah.
I don't think they've got it. I just don't, they're still a great team. I think they're great. I don't know. They've just sort of come back to the pack a little bit. You talked to me just before Origin. I'm like, Penrith's winning by 40. Anyone. No one's coming near him. But the years evolved and players have evolved, and players like Sean Lane and Papali'i and Ryan Madison and Paulo and Campbell Gillard have all had probably fucking near career best seasons. And Reid Marnie and now Moses, so you rock off these names, and their back five's very important. Gutho's been playing some great football.
Wonga Blake.
And left Wonga Blake and
Tom Opicic
and
doing a job.
And Sevo. Opicic does his job, and you've got Penasini. They can get out of yardage pretty good.
so can Taylan May and Brian Toto.
Yeah. But see, I think Taylan May's probably been playing better than Toto in the
But they
last 3 or
always
4
dominate
weeks.
field position, Jacko, because they dominate
Yes.
in defence. They're always coming off the front foot. Dylan Edwards gets a lot of raps and deservedly so. But he's generally getting the ball, catching it on the full, and catching it from 20
the
metres
30.
past his 50. Exactly. And then bringing it back. And he does the best job at it because that's his job and he does it perfectly. But
Because the kick pressure that Penrith put on as well.
the game that they lost at Penrith at the start of the year, I couldn't believe that they won that game. I thought Gutho and Junior Paulo, that's Barlow, it's one of their best performances I've ever seen from those two players. They were unreal. But if both teams stay healthy and it doesn't come down to rotation of the bench, which I think if that happens, I'm confident in Para.
Talent-wise, Scope, who do you think's got more talent?
I think I think
everyone-
Parramatta
I
have
weigh
more
games
talented
up.
players in their top five or six.
Yeah.
But
I measure,
even actually, I think Parramatta are the more
this is how I
talented
measure.
team.
This is how I measure. I go from 1 to 17 both teams, and I'm like, if they play their best game, who wins?
Okay.
And I think Parramatta.
We got time.
Wins.
Gutho and Edwards.
Gutho, if Gutho's like
I'll give me
Gutho's
Gutho.
is better.
Yeah,
you know
fuck.
what I
Do you want to
mean?
go through?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll go through them. You got Taylan May up against Micah Sevo.
Sevo,
Yep. Isaac Tungo up against Will Penasini. That's probably like for like.
pretty
50-50.
Then you go
Crichton.
across Crichton, Opicic,
Toto,
Toto
got
Wonga
Toto.
Blake,
Toto.
Luai Dylan Brown,
Give me Dillbags.
Nathan Cleary
Prince.
Mitchie, Moses Leota, Regan Campbell Gillard.
See, that's
Regan
fucking
Campbell
even.
Gillard.
Gillard.
Right now, yeah.
And I love Moses Leota.
Coruscant up against Reid Marnie.
Uppy.
These are only just too.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
This is not like this. The other 9
But do you
is
agree with
way
all
better.
mine so far?
Yeah,
This is a tough one,
So
mate.
Fisher Harrison Paulo.
Fisher Harrison Paulo.
I want to see.
Flip of the coin.
That's a flip of the coin.
Flip
exactly.
of the coin. 50-50.
Kickow and Lane right now.
Kick out.
Right now, you got it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but still kick out.
I'm still kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Liam Martin and Papali'i.
That's fucking
Papali'i for me.
Yeah.
Isaiah Yo Mato. Yo.
Yo.
Kenny.
And bench. And just say bench.
Cares about
Penrith.
bench. Mitch Kenny's a little X factor too. He's a little animal.
Yeah, Mitch Kenny goes hard.
Spencer-
Because the thing with Mitch Kenny is the versatility. He doesn't even have to play hookie. You don't have to take Guppy off. He'll come on and play
Nah, he
lock for
plays
30
lock
minutes.
and just jams everything.
Yeah. The old fake Adam Docker.
Yeah. Remember
He's a
him?
bit of an Adam
Jesus
Docker.
Christ.
But
Speaking of yuck fucking tackles.
Adam Docker, and he could hit. He could hit.
I got Spencer Lanier for last try too. Skip, you like that one?
He's been great.
Hey,
It's not the worst bet. He fucking loves a meat. He loves a piece of meat, Spencer. It's going to be hard to find anytime jam this week because
So I went last. I'm just thinking if it gets late, he comes on. He always finishes the game for them. I
Yeah.
can see him just fucking.
And late in the half too. So it's where it opens up.
Yeah.
I
If
think
Para off, it could be like, right near the ruck. They somehow sort of slip up near the line.
There's
sometimes.
worse bets for 1850 the best. Skip. All right, jump across to Saturday down at Amy Park. Speaking of rivalry games, in the last 5 years, this has probably been one of the biggest rivalries. Melbourne taking on Canberra Raiders. How the fuck Canberra got in? Don't
got
know.
some good
but
battles,
they're in.
man.
Thank you, Brisbane.
Minus 8.5. Melbourne is the favourites. The over/under is 42.5. Skip a scope.
All right, let's start off by saying I like the 8.5 again. Give me the points in a big game like this. I think it's going to be defensive battle. Storm's X factors has to be Harry and Cheese off the back of momentum that their forwards lay the platform. Jesse Bromwich, a couple of uncharacteristic Jesse Bromwich errors last week. He'll be better. He won't put themselves in those sorts of positions. If Harry and Cheese are flowing, then Melbourne are going to win the game. The Raiders' X factor is their left edge. Last time they played, Hudson Young is on fire at the moment. Yeah. Jack Whiten is running to hurt people. He's not running to play. He's not running to play shape. He didn't play last week, but his last 5 or 6 weeks, he wants to hurt you. Sebastian Chris is in good nick. Their left edge is humming for the Raiders, and it's the Storm's weakest edge by a fair bit.
Yeah.
Like they've always struggled on
their
that right
right
edge
edge.
for the last couple of years. Momentum, so I'm a bit torn on this one, who's going to win, because I think momentum is massive, and I've always been really like teams humming at the right time of the season is really important to me, and that's Canberra over Melbourne, specifically in the last 2 weeks. But I have a feeling like class will show out in this, Mase, and Melbourne just get the job done.
I'm just looking for
I
the
like the
teams
8.5
now.
points, though.
It's very evenly matched in that forward pack, man. Like, because Big Papa and Joey Tapine have been on fire. And Jesse's been a little bit down this year.
Yeah, Jesse's been down.
Big Nelson's been, he's been up and down as well, like Nels, you know. Like
Kenny
he's-
and Felice haven't been their best this
Yeah,
year.
they haven't been playing
a couple
their
of,
best.
a couple
Like
of really good defensive efforts from Kenny in the last couple of weeks, but
And Felice Kafusi doesn't do anything wrong defensively. He just, in attack, he's been a bit quiet. Hudson Young's a smoky for a Kangaroo tour.
I agree.
Elliot Whitehead,
a good
Adam
shout.
Elliott's been playing good. Their forward pack are not scared of Melbourne. at
Just
all.
off topic quickly, Mase, if you had the decision between Sean Lane or Hudson Young to take to Australia, if it come down to them two, who would you take?
Hudson Young.
So would I.
Just because he can play
really?
hooker, he can
Yeah.
play lock, he can play back row, and he could probably play in the centres or anything. He'd be your 14.
He's
if
really
you want.
skilled, yeah.
He's highly skilled. He's got Newcastle boys as well.
and he's fucking dog, too.
He's a dog.
He's a fucking underdog.
Yeah.
He's an underdog, 285.
Is Munster going to play fullback?
Yeah.
So they just put me. They just named.
Yeah,
that
he's
kind of
named
stuff.
him
He
at
just
6
wants
the
someone
whole
at
time,
6. Yeah, Jerome Hughes got the biggest job out there, I reckon. Him and Munster. But I think
It's
they've got
Storm's
some-
pack.
They've got some X factors there. Like if you look at their best players, the Storm, they got the Harry Grants and Brandon Smiths, Jerome Hughes and Munster. They outshine Canberra as those 5 players there. Yeah, because Canberra's a good team. Like they're just tough and resilient and fucking. They just don't stop. They won't stop, man. They will not stop. And this game will be close. I reckon this will be one of the games of the round.
Yeah,
Whatever
this
it's
will be sick.
worth.
I back Canberra.
They've won their last
I'm
4.
leaning
I back Canberra
I'm
because
leaning
I don't think they're scared of anything. That Melbourne thing, they don't give a fuck where they travel. They've
won their last 4 down
They've
Amy
played
Park.
exactly. They're not scared
good
of
stat.
anything down there.
You know the thing is, when Chez comes off the
I
bench
want
for
the
him,
Hawes, bruh. They're going nuts as well.
he's a fucking
He's
dog.
a dog. He looks
Especially
good
when he
with his
shaved his
skinhead. It don't look good on you, son. Hey?
Yeah, when Chez comes off the bench, he's a fucking dog. When he comes off the bench and he's just running a mark and going crazy, he can throw teams off. He won't throw. He don't throw Canberra off. They're all fucking
just
lunatics as
tough
well.
pricks, man.
Tommy Starling's a fucking dog as well. He comes off the bench.
Emma
Shout out to
Gula and Corey
Wolford,
Howard
Zach
and Noah.
Wolford, man. He's a
nice,
fucking
bro.
journeyman. Come on.
Where'd he come from? He's Germ's son, isn't he?
Yeah.
Simon Wolford's
25,
son.
26
What
years
about
old.
that for a
man.
nickname, Germ?
Germ, yeah. Are you a good fella,
Yeah, good bloke,
Simon
Germ.
Wolford?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so Zach, I thought it was just going to be one of those nice stories. Comes on, plays half a dozen games. Tom Starling gets the reps and then gets inserted back into that starting position.
Yeah.
Fuck, he's been unreal.
I think Starling's a bench player, but
Yeah.
I don't think he just doesn't start the game. Wolford starts the game with a good tempo. He's good defensively, just distributes the ball good, and then you got Starling comes on, bang, little energizer bunny.
Yeah.
So you need that.
He's not afraid of anyone too, Tom Starling. He's only a little fella. He has a crack.
He has a crack.
Scope, I'm going to say this. I'm going to assume Craig Bellamy probably knows a little bit more about footy than me, but was there not benefit in starting Chez? Because I only see them, I
He
think
does
they
it
play
every now
all
and
their momentum when Harry gets out of dummy half, and I only ever see him really getting out after a Chez run. Is there any benefit, do you think, in a finals game is starting Chez at lock like they did for a little bit last year, and when they were fucking humming and scoring 50 on their
Who
own?
comes off the bench and beats the cheese?
Yeah, he
Well, I
does it. He
just think
does it.
that's
dependent
That's
on
the hard
matchups.
thing because have a look at their bench. Kamikamitha, Trent,
And then it would be Josh,
Lorio, and Chris Lewis.
and it would be Josh King, yeah.
They're very basic players. They're role players. You know what I mean? So they're just going to come on and tackle
Yeah.
and tackle and tackle and do shitty little hit ups and all that kind of stuff. So the only one who's going to do some good stuff is Brandon Smith off that bench.
Yeah, right.
And I get it. Josh King's had a great year. He's played most games. Newcastle boy. They've pretty well balanced that pack, and it sort of throws the balance of the team out because it's a 17-man game now. So you need. I would preferably start Brandon Smith, but if I had another sort of explosive player coming off the bench, I would. You know what I mean? Josh King can't come off the bench. Josh King needs to play 80 minutes to be effective.
It's
know what I mean?
matchup dependent, mate. So
It's
he does
all
it. He names
matchups.
him a 14, but he starts him every now and again.
Who knows?
And it's just a
Yeah.
feel. He might do it fucking at the end of a warm up sometimes. I don't know if you can do that. If you can, or maybe just
No,
before
you got now
warm-up.
just before you name your team.
So he
Something
might
like-
go
Hour
around.
before kickoff, yeah.
I'd imagine Bellamy's that sort of coach just before
How you
get a
feeling?
feel.
Do you want to start?
Looking, all right, we're on here. I think I'm going to start you. Not saying that definitely happens. I'm just saying,
No, it does happen. Coaches do that all the time.
yeah. Get a feel for it. Get a feel for the vibe.
Just look at those benches there. Canberra towel them up in bench.
What about the
bench
Suns'
bench.
respect we're giving fucking Penrith and Melbourne? I think Canberra are going to get them,
100%.
8.5. I'll be taking the 8.5 anyway.
Big Papa was on fire last week. So you see that try score, the footwork?
He's so
Jesus
silky.
Christ, man.
He all those Canberra team, they got, like we talked about it, they got a lot of mutters. They got a lot of guys, a bit like the old Manly teams back in the day. You can warm into a season because they've got to get game fitness.
Yeah.
They're not athletes. They're
They've
not
got
like
it now.
yeah.
They've got it in
They're
spades.
footy
Like
players.
Joey Tapine, I think he's the front row of the year.
Yeah.
I think he's Dally in front row of the year. I think Elliot Whitehead's a great captain, good leader. They're just a well-balanced side. Hudson Young, they'll get through. I think they might get through. Not to the grand final, but
Elliot
they might
Whitehead?
I won't be surprised if I see the Green Machine in a prelim.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I think Melbourne smack them.
Yeah.
So what side will they
Even
go
without the chin skip, even without Alec McDonald on the bench, I think they do a job.
Yeah. The Chin's been disrespected of late.
The chin.
He had a good start to the
massively
season.
disrespected.
Alec McDonald, he's that young kid that was playing at the start of the year. He's just a toiler. He's just a toiler.
Socks down, low tackle techie.
Yeah, from Christchurch.
All right, let's roll
He's
on.
not from Christchurch, He's from somewhere else.
I can tell you exactly where he's from. He's
Yeah,
from
go. No,
Auckland.
move on.
He's from Auckland.
Yeah, he used to.
Yeah.
Said that.
Let's roll on then. Saturday, late gamers, we just mentioned it, all 11
Dolph's
and a half.
back.
All
How good's
11,500. Cronulla taking on the Cowboys. So these are the two Cinderella stories. So either one of these teams that no one really had much of a chance at the start of the year are going to end up one win away from a grand final.
Did you have him in the top four, Jacko?
I did. Thanks for mentioning it again, Scott. Didn't have him second. But Cronulla are slightly favoured, -2.5. The over or under is 42.5. Cowboys travelling to the 11,500 full Shark Park.
My X factor for the Sharks is the power game. They've got some big boppers. They've got some big bodies coming back. Royce Hunt coming off the bench, I believe, with
He's starting.
Rudolph. Is he in with Rudolph? Is he?
Hamlin Llewellyn, yeah.
Hamlin Llewellyn's coming off the bench. Like they've got that power game.
He was an animal last week. I mean, that was one of the lowest games I've ever seen in the world, but like, he was fucking good last week.
Hamlin
Hamlin
Llewellyn,
Llewellyn,
yeah,
yeah.
he was
Against
when
Newcastle.
you play at Cronulla and Mase, you know, like it's the elements come into it, right? It's a bit dewy, it's a bit slippery. It's a big boys game. They want to play like low scoring games. Like they've played with some flair this year. They can put a number on a team, but it suits Cronulla playing at Cronulla. That's another aspect that comes into it.
100%. Cronulla on is this a Saturday night?
Yep, Saturday night.
Everyone hates it.
7:30,
It'll be
7:50.
cold. It'll be dewy. It'll be just like it'll be awful. It's awful conditions. Even though it might be a beautiful night, it's fucking slippery as hell. And they understand. They know what to do on that field.
And you know who else does? My X factor for the Cowboys is the Chad. The Chad knows it. He knows he's going to the kicking game. In particular is going to be so important for the Cowboys. He'll know exactly. He'll know every inch of the grass at Shark Park. He'll be ready for it. He'll have his boys amped up. I just think, again, you'll see a theme here. I like the Dogs. I think Cowboys are healthier. So Finucane's missed a heap of footy this year. Connor Tracy's missed a heap of footy at the back end of the season. Sifa Talakai's still 50-50. Like they're talking about him. He's
Kennedy as well.
Yep,
He's
Kennedy's just come back from 4 or 5 weeks out. Toby Rudolph.
The Doles had 3 weeks off, hadn't he?
Yep.
3 or 4.
Like
I backed the Cowboys.
bit of juice at the back end of a game. Bit of juice at the back end of the game.
They are fit, the Cowboys. They don't stop. They're pretty relentless.
Yep.
I reckon Robson's been unbelievable. Where the hell did he come from?
Dragons.
Yeah, like fucking how they let him go. Jesus Christ. Good
Like a
coaching.
couple of years ago. And McInnes.
Ruben
they both
Cotter,
had-
outstanding. Nanai, Taumalolo, Jordan McLean. That's a fair pack.
Tommy
Ruben Cotter.
Dearden must have got his nuts cut off. He's good to go.
Dearden just does not give a
What about
shit.
Tommy Dearden pulled the Angus Crichton and just said to the doctor,
I've seen that snippet.
just
Snip it off.
cut it off if it means he can, if he was going to miss finals.
How good's that? That's
he
what
just
you want
said
in your
chop it
team,
I
mate.
don't-
Just a
it didn't
dog
happen,
like that.
but it's a good story.
off. Yeah, but to say that, to
Scotty
the doctor,
Drinkwater's fucking been on fire. Val Holmes has been on fire, man.
a one nut Dearden. Beautiful.
Dearden, yeah, that's tough, man. It's just porky, I reckon, but like, whatever.
Yeah, it's a good story.
We'll run with it, mate.
Fuck, how many porkies have we told?
Yeah, it's non-stop.
The
Just
old-
cut it off, Doc. Please don't, but
Yeah, I like the
But tell
Cowboys.
everyone-
I just think they're healthier, got more rhythm. Couple of guys that have played in Origin experience,
Yeah.
I think is really going to show up for him this year, Mase. Like
Yeah.
you've got obviously Wado's played in Origin games and grand finals. Dale Finucane's fucking done a shitload at Melbourne and
that's
at
about
Origin
it.
level.
That is about it.
Who Moyes has played in a few big games and for Australia, but now you've got Val Holmes. Pet's played for New Zealand. Murray Taulagi played for fucking Queensland this year. Dearden. Chad was part of the squad, won a grand
Played a
final.
couple of tests.
Welcome back, Cotter. He fucking killed it in his one Origin game. Jeremiah Nanai was arguably
Outstanding.
the best forward outside of Paddy Carrigan, maybe only in Origin. Jason Tomalolo has won a comp, fucking
Been the best
representing
forward
New
in the
Zealand
game
and Tonga for
the last
years.
5 or 6 years. Yeah, I just think they've got a lot of experience there, and I just think guys like Taumalolo and all
gonna
these
be a
leaders,
fucking
Chad
cracker.
Townsend,
Fuck, this is a good round of
Dearden will be
footy.
good. Yeah, what a classic ground. I think, as you said, like these guys have been a little bit underdone. You're coming into round 1 of the finals, and they are primed Cowboys. And you've had 3 or 4 weeks off Rudolph. You know what I mean? Like, and even Talakai, Kennedy, Tracy. They're
I think that
fucking
shows up.
Key players, mate. They are key players. Forward pack, everyone's going to hold. Niokora was outstanding last week. Wade Graham.
scored a hat-trick,
Finucane
didn't
comes
he?
back. He's
Yeah,
probably,
three of the
Finucane's
best.
probably only played like 12 games all year. He's been out a fair bit.
I'm not worried. Out of all of them, yeah, you're right, Mace. Out of all of them, I'm not worried about Dale because I know what Dale's going to do.
Yeah.
A little bit worried about Toby because Toby's been there. He's been their workhorse. So you've got Royce Hunt doesn't play crazy big minutes. Hamuel doesn't play crazy big minutes. Bopper's got it in him because Bopper's been there and
Get
done
a
it.
little
Andrew
bit sloppy
Fafita.
around the ruck butt if you've got.
But they rely on Toby Rudolph so much for big minutes and doing all the little
stuff.
shitty work.
I mean, like, he doesn't get sloppy around the ruck, but if you miss 3 or 4 weeks and you've had a groin injury
Exactly.
or whatever injury it is, you're not fucking moving around the field that well.
And
when you've got
Robson's
guys like,
very
when you've
good,
got
yeah.
Robson, when you've got Taumalolo, Nanai, Luch, Cotter, McLean, they're taking you on. They are taking you on and they're non-stop through the ruck. So, like, I just think they can be nearly unstoppable sometimes, North Queensland, when they get on these rolls. They've kicked game with Townsend.
As long as they don't try to
Fucking
win it by
Dearden.
30.
No, they don't. I think they've got that team where they can grind you out. You know, and then you got Gilbert, Hess, and
It's a good bench.
and the big fella,
Griffin Neame.
Namaste.
Griffin, no.
Oh, namaste.
Griffin Neame. He's a young Kiwi boy. He's a gun.
He's a gun.
He's
so
a gun.
they're coming off the bench. Like Cohen Hess has played Origin. Tom Gilbert's played Origin. How about Tabuai Fido's played Origin? It's quick as fuck. You know what I mean? They've got a big bench that comes on. You don't stop the motion.
Griffin Neame was in the Kiwis earlier in the year as
I
well.
bet he does.
He made the squad. He didn't make the final team. He'll
But I'm just
be
saying, like,
playing
they do not
World
lose
Cup.
any momentum in the middle. When McLean goes off, you put that big boot on, you put Gilbert on, you put Hess on, you can take whoever you want out, put those guys in, you don't lose anything. You can have any injury in that back line and Fido, and they can move little pieces around like Drinkwater and Hiku and Val Holmes around, and you can
they're so
fix
versatile,
everything.
man.
It's a very versatile team. Fucking big smokies.
Shit. Oh, well, I came into this preview show tipping Cronulla, and Mace, you've swung me. I'm going to go Chad Townsend field goal at Sharp Park Skip.
Oh, love that. Love that.
And this come back like Jordan.
Yeah.
No, nothing else. Just
You know when he was training a couple of years ago at the Sharks and he had the speed dealers on? Imagine if he just pulls the speed dealers out. Fucking bang.
Field goal.
His giggle.
doing chatty. I remember a couple of years ago before he signed with North Queensland, and obviously it was. I think they played the Gold Coast, and I was in Coffs Harbour for New South Wales Rugby League, and I sat in the Cronulla dugout where they played at Coffs Harbour, and I was just like, what are you fucking doing here, Chatty? I thought because he was starting, and he'd been killing it for won the grand final for him, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what do you reckon? And I said, oh, that's right. You fucking signed with the Cowboys. He realised it was like half all the admin and everything. And I said, that's right. You're on the fucking bench. So they won't play you. So they wouldn't play him.
He's a good
And
fella,
back
Chad.
He's a great guy. Fucking great guy.
Last time I was at Shark Park as well, he kicked a field goal against Normie last year. So
He's got it.
something about it.
He can control that game. You know,
Well, no,
whenever-
that wasn't. That was at.
That was at Dragons, you're right.
Dragons, Cogra.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway,
That's all right, mate.
Chad's got a field goal in him.
He
Skip.
kicked a field goal there.
And last one, Mace, this is the big game. Scope, we got the Roosters after last week. They are still the favourites. You're getting -4.5 for them. Obviously, the big out is Joey Manu with that calf. Cam Murray has been named. The over-under is 42.5. So there's plenty happening in this one at the new stadium, Skip.
My X factor for the Roosters is Matt Lodge coming off the bench. Yep. So they're going to start Takiaho. Matt Lodge has been probably the form front rower of the last 4 weeks. The platform that he's laid with Jared has been unreal. And the luxury they have now of bringing him off the bench with an experienced campaigner of finals time. Like, Takiaho hasn't been great this year. He started slowly, sort of warmed into the season like the rest of the Roosters. He's been banged up a little bit, but fuck, he knows how to win comps. He knows how to play in big games as well, played for the Kiwis. So to have the luxury of bringing Lodge off the bench, my X factor, and it has to be for the Rabbitohs, has to be Campbell Graham. And the reason I say Campbell Graham is because at the moment, Mudders Hutchinson's going to be playing left edge. And this is respectfully to Mudders Hutchinson, right? We love Hutchinson, right? He's one of our favourite. Like a couple of years ago, we sort of would have a little crack about Mudders Hutchinson.
He's a centre.
I was watching them play on the weekend against South, and what was happening, anything inside the 20, we talked about him before, our little mate Chez, friend of the 19th, come on and do the show, what he was doing inside the 20, Chez is so aggressive, what he does is he shoots anytime there's any chance of potentially stripping that left edge apart, he'll shoot out of the line and try shut it down at the 7. He shoots all the way in front of Angus Crichton, leaves Hutchinson, and then what everyone else does, because Teddy's so fucking fit, everyone just sweeps in behind and they all just cover. So it's very hard to expose. What I'd do if I was the Rabbitohs this week, and I know they're listening, Jason Dimitri on that, I wouldn't even be, if I was Lockie Ilias, I'd be standing in my position like you're normally going to run, and because Chez is coming out so hard, I'd just be staying there. So what you'd be doing, rather than they run that normal shape where they like to dig into the line and then rip it, you don't get time with Chez. So just stand there. If he comes out so quickly, then you can isolate Hutchinson because they defend so well around him that he never really gets stood up. If you can somehow get
100%.
early ball to Latrell or Campbell Graham, I think they do a number on Hutchinson, but we just haven't seen it yet. Like Joey said it against.
They haven't exposed him at all. He's
Who
not
did
a
they play?
defensive centre.
No.
They
No one gets into it.
If they, I reckon, I've heard a few little comments that they got a bit of a different game plan.
Yeah.
Because Hutchinson hasn't been exposed at all. They fucking don't even run down that edge. They've been going to Joey Manu. He can handle anything on that right edge. And now Joey Manu's gone. They need to go right sometimes. Cody Walker needs fucking wherever. He needs license to go wherever the fuck he wants. And Lockie Ilias needs to attack that edge as well because they always put that extra number when they see, like Latrell sitting behind the ruck. They always know they're going to go left. You know what I mean? They've got good defensive systems like the Roosters. So like you can really get at Hutchinson if they were fair dinkum this week. You'd be trying to get at him because Keary just comes up and blocks everything off real quick. You know what I mean? Like he just like pretty much looks after himself and Crichton. Like he comes in front of Crichton on that left edge, as you said before.
But they know they're going to do it though because everyone buys in.
Because they don't pull the trigger good enough and they're not confident enough left to right though than they are right to left. They fucking go away from it a little bit. They need to pull the trigger now and just go at him because you'll get some fun down there.
100%.
You'll get a bit of joy, and if not someone saying scoring tries, but you'll get easy meters. If you can just get a little bit of a block shape, just even if it's just like a little dummy inside block runner out the back, and just take the meters and get at Hutchinson. You know what I mean? Just little plays where you can just
you've got to try to expose
where
it.
he knows that we're fucking coming. So you can hold up a little bit, Keary, and then Keary and Crichton, lead runner out the back, hit your leads, then start hitting out the back. You know what I mean? And Campbell Graham can be that guy out the back, just going straight at him. Or Latrell. Like Latrell needs to be that dude, and he can force that fucking 3-on-2. And he's going to skip outside Keary. He's got that skill set, and he can get straight to fucking the 3. You know what I mean? And then he make his decision. And then Campbell Graham just needs to stay a little bit out.
Yeah.
Like,
hold your width.
I think they're going to be...
Hold your width, be patient. Don't fucking look like you're going to buy it. Just sit, bang, quick dish.
Roosters are good defensively. They're good in the middle. Like if they hadn't lost Joey Manu, I was like, they've got a decent run to get to the grand final. Losing Joey Manu brings them right back to the pack because he was that X factor.
Agree.
And I'm like,
and defensively
now
really
I'm
sound
looking,
as well.
I'm like looking at their centers going, I don't even think you can score a try.
Am I overthinking it, Scope? Does Trent Robinson think exactly like the skip and think that's going to happen? Is that why he brings a guy like Adam Kieran on the bench who has played left centre for them a bit?
Could do.
Are they thinking perhaps if they do
100%. He's smart as hell, Robinson. He's like,
Kieran's a lot quicker laterally.
our left edge has not been exposed for fucking ages.
So he's got a backup plan in Adam Kieran.
He'd always have a backup plan. He's one of the smartest coaches, and then you can and if he's getting smoked, that kid, hook him.
Because I can't understand why else they're going to have Kieran on the bench. I don't know where else he comes into the side.
Just gives
and
some versatility.
even Crichton can play left centre. If you want Crichton to play left centre and just do a job on that little edge, and then you can push someone else on that left edge, like Takayaho can play left edge, Victor Radley can play. They're very all these forwards, very mobile, very smart players. Egan Butcher can play. He was outstanding last week, Egan Butcher.
Egan Butcher's a gun.
Outstanding. So he can play on the edge. He can play wherever he wants. So they've got a lot of pieces in that team that can plug in anywhere. All right, just move to the left edge. No, not a big deal. Crichton play left centre. You know what I mean? Like not just defend at left 3. Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah. Left 2, not a big deal
Chez
for him.
defends it too.
And then come in a little bit. And you look after Sam Walker. They look after each other. They've got great defensive systems.
By the way, we're not having a crack at Drew Hutchinson's
He's our favourite.
front on defence, because he's
Nah,
all right.
man.
You can play him a hooker. He's going to jam people. It's just laterally moving
Dude,
sideways.
he's not a centre. He's just not a centre. Like he's not
big
down.
5'8",
He can play. But he's not like he's like you're sitting on an island out there. The spaces are fucking bigger, and when you fucking go through the middle and you get caught out there, and then you're against the Campbell grain near the line, and he's got like 5 metres inside and outside. Fuck. Like in the middle, you feel safe. Like I defend in the middle, but then if I move down on an edge or the left edge or right edge, you'd be like, yeah, the spaces are bigger. So you need to fucking, it's one of the hardest positions to play. That's why you need to communicate with your middles. And then it gets further and further and further you go. I've got right 4, left 3, 2, the 1, the fucking space is big. You're sitting on an island. And if you're, that's, you got to give respect to some of these centres, man, that are gun defensive centres and miss. You know how hard it is when you're going one-on-one against GI or something like that? Mark Gasnier in his prime, like Willie Tonga in his prime. Fuck that. They're cooking you 2 ways. Fucking inside out, bang, bang, hit you what? Right palm, fucking left foot, like they can swap hands. That was so skillful, those pricks. I remember one time I got caught one-on-one with Willie T, Origin, 2004. It's a joke. Fuck you, Luke Rooney, you should have trusted me. Anyway, it was like, so I got caught at right 2 in Origin, and it was just like, and I saw Tonga, I was like, fuck, this is 2004 Willie Tonga as well. It's not fucking prime
That
time
was his
Tong.
best year.
It's prime time Tong, but Queensland weren't prime
Big
time.
pimpin'.
Yeah, Queensland weren't the best, you know what I mean? So I think Gaz or someone got caught in, so I had to go out, and I was looking at Tong going, fuck, I knew he wanted to, like, I just got on his, like, from his inside and then
Super.
that way. He called it, and I knew he was going to bounce out because he thought he'd get me out. So I started on his inside and then up straight, so I cut his left foot off and then went straight at his fucking ribs. Fucking Rooney come in. I had him. Rooney come in, fucking tipped it on and try. And then I said, Tom, I had you. You know it. That was the main thing. Fuck it. We won the game anyway, but I said, you know I had you. He goes, I know, bro. You got me. Can't get me on an island like that. I got you.
As if that hasn't come up on a Larry in the last 18 years.
He goes, all the time. I said, no, you know I had you, bro. I said, I cut that left foot off. I made you go overs. And I said, fuck you, Luke Rooney.
Mate, you know what? One thing I love is when we talk about like something that we've talked about shows up on the film or like showed up on the weekend. So, remember like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about that soft day where you fullbacks present down a certain edge, and what they want you to do is make it look like there's players down there. Therefore, you get, what's the word? You don't want to go down there. What's the word? Scared, you get scared away from going down that edge because you think, all right, they've got 4 people down that short side, but really, bluffing that you're going to be down that short side. Sam Walker at identifying the soft day and still attacking it. So that little try that he scored in behind. So you would have seen Latrell. Latrell sat down that shot, sat at A, and Sam Walker got his hands on the ball, seen Latrell, realised he was a soft day at that A position, put the little kick in behind him.
A little bit sideways. And I'm like, because he was just what he was doing was coming up and just cutting in behind. He wasn't putting any pressure on. And that little dude saw it. That is just
He's a gun. He does it all the time.
That is playing eyes up footy. You know what I mean? If you're a young half, fucking copy off Sam Walker. Don't try and cut and paste like the Cooper Cronks and all that kind of stuff. Like be all like fucking structured bullshit. You got to play football. You got to look at guys like Joey and like JT and all these sort of guys. They just played whatever the fuck was in front of them.
That's why he's so fun to watch.
Cooper Cronk's only Cooper Cronk because he had to do that. He was never a traditional 7. Coops. He came in debut against us. He was playing 9 and on the wing and in centres. He just made himself like that. So if you're going to take anything, take the blueprint out of Cooper Cronk's attitude.
Hard work, yeah.
Hard work ethic. Never no stone unturned, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
hard
develop
work,
it as you go on.
Develop, get better. You know what I mean? Like he didn't play a test till 2007. Like he was 25 years old.
It's a Queensland thing too, Mase. When you look at like Ben Hunt, Daly Cherry Evans, fucking Cam Munster, Sam Walker, they play open footy up there.
Walsh
We're very down here in New South Wales. It's very kick to corners.
Cleary.
It's Leary.
That's. I mean, they're doing a job, but look, that's 3 out of the last 10 years that have come through the game. That's fucking awful. So we're not developing anyone, are we? You know, Cleary's going to be the half for the next 10 years. Like Moses won't play. Brooks they're done. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking rep football.
Yeah.
Like who's going to be pushing like Cleary? Like so they can battle for it. Like no one.
One last little thing to put a bow on this.
Like South
I've got one last little thing, Mase, for it before we move on.
No, I mean, like who we got? Like
I'm going South. And
I said South, and then I went back to the Roosters, and I don't know why. And I think it's one of those moments where fucking South are going to win.
Because I think, and I don't mean he's a better player. Like you can argue this either side. I think Cam Murray, because essentially Cam Murray missed the game because he got knocked out in the first minute. Radley missed the game. They're both keys to their team. But when Murray's out and that shape that they run so well to the left edge and set it up, he's
done.
generally first receiver now. I think Cam Murray's more important than Victor Radley is to the Roosters.
I don't think
both are massive. No, I think a lot of people would.
And he
I
goes-
think we're going
and
to
he-
get some in the comments.
And he goes right, but he does that on the right side as well,
Yeah.
and the left side. So he can do both sides. So that,
Yeah,
if
true.
You, if you
He
want to
links
open
up
it
with Colomatangi.
if you want to open it up on that right side with Colomatangi and Campbell Graham, you need Cam Murray because it takes the pressure off Ilias, and Ilias can be that guy out the back. You know what I mean? Like in Kaloa can be running that lead line, Ilias out the back, Campbell Graham, you know what I mean? Like you can do all these things with Cam Murray because he squares up so good. He puts that ball straight in his hands. It's
always out in front.
Always out in front.
On the
You're not
numbers.
reaching back. It's, or
Hit the sponsors, baby. Hit the sponsor.
The timing is all of Cam Murray, that whole team. As soon as he went off, I'm like, they're fucked.
Yeah,
they are.
they're
They're proper
same.
fucked because it's just the amount of work that he does and the amount of touches that he gets, and he spreads the ruck. Now with Damien Cook back, then he's going to get his offloads are impeccable. He's getting that, and then Cook can just bounce out straight away. Where Havili and that other kid who started, they'll just get the ball and they just ran. They shit themselves.
Yeah.
Where Damien Cook,
That's their bread and butter.
Where Damien Cook was his eyes up straight away, where isolates and sees everything. Do you know what I mean? He sees everything. He'll go left if he sees Cody Walker and Latrell. He'll go right if he sees space there. So that's all off Cam Murray's offloads. No one really has that second phase. No one was really doing it. Like Nichols was ineffective. Even so, they handled Totola. Tom Burgess was ineffective.
Totola's been good, but they did handle him.
They did handle him. You know what I mean? So there are ways, but you need that Cam Murray in there. For fuck's sake, why are you going low on a marker for? I mean, on a winger. Like he should have ragdolled Kevvy Naguama and just took him back to. You don't have to go low there.
Take him back to St Helens.
He was straight back to St Helens.
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to Radley too, because Radley's a gun.
Like
but Cam Murray's so important to them.
Radley and Cam Murray's tackle tech are fucking impeccable. But sometimes when they get it wrong, they're off.
Jakey-
They ain't. Jakey was at the start of his career and then he fixed it because sometimes he can go high. He's a little bit bigger. Cam Murray's got that fucking body type where he can handle anyone up top. There's no way he should have dipped down on Kevin Naguama. You know what I mean? Like Victor Radley, yeah, I get it, mate. Jesse Bromwich got late football. He dipped. I know Jesse Bromwich 6'5", 6'6". He's a big guy. You want to
he
get
could
him
dip.
around that area.
Yep.
But you got to stay as tall as you can. I'm not teaching these guys how to tackle. As tall as you can. But like, if it's Kevin Naguama, you're fucking staying up. Cam Murray's not small. He's fucking got arms and he's built like a fucking someone chiseling him out of granite. You know what I
Kevin's
mean?
the kind of type
And
of guy who wants to run straight in you as well. So bang.
He'll tip into you and he was already down, so he had no choice. And if he fucking just upper body bang picked him up, someone got his fucking leg just ragdolled him straight back. Cam Murray still plays. He needs his first 10 tackles to be fucking up top, so he can warm into it. I looked at it and went, "Fuck, that could have been avoided."
Fuck, I hope they both
What the
fly.
fuck are you doing? That's
Hope
what I
they
was
both
thinking. I
play.
was just like, I watched the game and said, "What'd you do that for?" Fuck's sake, you just not get yourself knocked out. Like out of something that could be like you could get away from. All you got to do is just get up, bang. He hits hard anyway, around the chest area. Grab the ball. You ain't fucking going for hips on a winger.
The Fijian winger's got the
Come
hips
on,
of
man.
granite
Hips
too.
got hips of granite. He's a Fiji, man. He fucking moves. God damn. Yeah,
Skip,
geez.
just before we
I don't want
wrap-
to see. Sorry. I just don't want to see.
Yeah, no.
Fucking just ruin the game for me last week. And it's not his fault. You know what I mean? But
It is
it
his
is.
fault.
You got me.
Bit of breaking news, Skip, right before we get out of here. 'cause
Whoa,
I know
whoa,
we're gonna
whoa,
go.
whoa,
It's
whoa.
not breaking news.
Okay,
It's
okay.
just the NRL have named their young gun team of the year. So they do this every year. So
Yeah.
basically anyone who came into this season with under 25 games,
Yeah.
they name their top side. So I'll just shine a quick light on the young boys.
Yeah,
So
go
they've
on,
got-
give 'em a shout out.
Do that in 2000. I would have
Yeah.
been in that.
They're gone with fullback.
I wouldn't have made it because I debuted at 26.
So they've gone with fullback Jaden Campbell, the wings Sawali and Selwyn Cobbo. The centres are Will Penasini and Isaac Tungo. The halves Talatau Amon and Sammy Walker. Prop Ruben Cotter. Hooker Taniela Otokolo from the Warriors. Josh Curran at prop. Jeremiah Nanai, Bo Firma and Kobe Hetherington at lock.
Shout out, boys. Well done.
Fair,
Congrats.
fair
That's a good
team.
team.
A lot of
good team.
future rep players in that team.
There you
Enjoy
go,
the
Skip,
footy
that's it.
this week, and we'll see you next week, boys.
See you, boys.